America at War with Itself. Okay, let me see here. So give me a moment to put everything else in here. Uh, with It's crazy to even imagine typing this, but yeah, we do appear to be at war with ourselves. So hear from the folks. Maybe some of you guys can correct me on this if you think I'm wrong, but I don't think so. I think we got some major problems on our hands. I think we got emphasis on dark times coming up. Good evening, Creed. Welcome to the program. Just try to I'm doing a test run tonight. It's going to be a shorter live than usual because we're going to be on X tonight for the first time. So, having said that, I have to get the devices up and running. So that's what I'm doing while I'm actually talking to you. But we're currently on X now. We're going to be on Instagram. We're going to be on TikTok and YouTube. So that's where we're going to be. Let me just put this in here real quick. And good evening to you folks that are beginning to filter in. What is 3 hours? What do you mean, what is 3 hours, Creed? I don't get what you mean by that. Tonight may not be a full length live. I mean, because like I said, I'm trying to learn X. We're on X tonight. I've never been on X live before, so tonight we're going to be on our normal platforms plus X. So this is going to be different. Plus X. So let me go ahead and do that. Every time you say that, it always turns out to be a 3 hour live. Okay, Creed. All right. Well, if it gets to be, somebody said, let me turn on my Wi-Fi. Somebody said it's a little delayed. So, oh shit. The fuck is with this tablet? Okay, there we go. That should help the audio out. Give it a second. I'm switching. I didn't realize I had my devices on. What do you call it? I had my device. I didn't have them on Wi-Fi. I had them on mobile. So give me a moment here. And last but not least, I'm trying to figure out what platform. What am I even looking at? I'm actually getting my wires crossed here. I'm looking at X. Okay. All right. We good to go. That's what I'm doing. All right. I know what I'm doing now. I got lost there for a minute. Okay. So having said that, we'll go ahead and go live on TikTok and you know something. I just queued up saying that Trump loves black people. That was yesterday's, or better yet, a couple of days ago. That show. Let me go ahead and stop TikTok here. When you're doing all this shit at once, I'm starting to fuck up a few things. All right, we'll be on air in about 20 seconds here. I just put in Trump loves black people. That's from a different show though. But we're talking about America at war with itself. So sad thing to say. Okay. All right, we should be good now. Okay, we'll start the show momentarily here. And 3, 2, 1. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Bring back the loudmouth women who hates crackers. What is the name there? Libtards, and you got a long ass name. Now I got to put on my spectacles to even give your name justice. What does it say? I think it says libtards and conk servitudes or service. I don't know what you're saying, but I get the libtards part. But anyway, welcome to the show, folks. This is the first time we're now on X Live. So if any of you have an X account, in addition to YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, we're now on X Live as well. And I'm just testing it out for tonight. The whole purpose of this is to figure out how TikTok works, and we're gonna go ahead and get into the actual show itself, and that is, maybe it's me. I had somebody tell me this earlier, and maybe some of you folks can help me out with this. The suggestion that America is at war with ourselves. We are at war with ourselves. I'm sitting around watching the news today. Some of the cable news outlets, News Nation, Fox, they got split screens of protests and military personnel on the streets of Portland, on the suburban streets of Chicago, in the on the streets of Chicago as well. They did raid an apartment complex in Chicago, suggesting that members of Trinidad Agua were in the apartment complex. So they did. They said that they arrested actual members of Trinidad Agua in the on this on in a. I'm having a bite in moment in an apartment complex on the south side of Chicago. Now I'm familiar with the neighborhood. I'm actually quite familiar with the South Shore neighborhood where they made this arrest. It doesn't. Maybe I don't been out of touch a little bit, but the place they made that arrest does not look like somewhere Trinidad Agua would be. I mean, I would expect to be nothing but African Americans living in that property that they went into. But they claim that they ended up taking out members of Trinidad Agua, unless I'll just say unless there are black people, actual African Americans that are part of Trinidad Agua. I'm not aware of that, but I'm sure that listen, folks who run product, deal drugs, black, white, you name it, do make runs for the cartel. So maybe, but my main problem is this. Just like with the boats they're blowing up in Venezuela, the Trump administration is not always known to tell the truth. So when they tell you they've made arrests with Trinidad Agua or they've blown up a Venezuelan boat or something like that, it's hard to just believe the Trump administration on face value. That's me. Maybe you guys have a difference of opinion on that, but for me personally, because he's said so many things that have turned out not to be true or to be exaggerated. If he just blows, if the Trump administration just blows up a boat off the coast of Venezuela and they say that it had drugs in it that were going to be brought to America, it's hard for me just to believe that at face value. Not to say it may not be true. Trump may be telling the truth. But what did Dick Cheney used to say? Trust but verify. That's kind of the way I view things with the Trump administration. It would be much better if they actually captured at least one or two of these crews coming out of Venezuela, captured them and showed us the drugs they had on them and showed us who the people are. But just to blow them all up and you don't get it, you don't see any product, you don't see the faces of any of these people. It's hard to just accept that at face value. That's my humble opinion, but you guys can have a difference of opinion. Which is why I also said when they're arresting people in Chicago and they're claiming that they're Trinidad Agua members, I'd like to see who they arrested. I would really like to see who they arrested in things of that nature because it's just hard to accept their word. I mean, we seen what happened with Kilmar Abrego Garcia. I'm still not 100% certain that the way the Trump administration painted him is accurate. That he was smuggling immigrants or he was involved in children smuggling. I'm not 100% sure all that's true. Even the point of him being a member of MS-13, I have not seen ample evidence from the Trump administration that definitively places Kilmar Abrego Garcia at the level they put him in. Now, I see in the comments that you never seen the video, says JJ. I have seen the video. I seen the police in Tennessee pull him over, and he had multiple extra seats in his car, but he didn't have any extra people in it. They saw his car look like it was outfitted to maybe haul other folks, and then they leaped to make the assumption that he's probably smuggling immigrants in the country. But he didn't have any immigrants in his possession, and they didn't make any arrests. So you can't just leap from what looks like to automatically convicting him of what you think he. If he was guilty of smuggling, he should have been arrested on the spot. He should have been arrested on the spot then. So I'm not for certain that Kilmar Abrego Garcia fits the narrative that they're painting. I'm just going to say that. For TikTok, you guys let me know. I do not. My last TikTok was on subscriber only or something, and I don't want it to be that way. So let me know, because I do want to be able to bring anybody up. So if anybody that sees us on the subscriber only, let me know, and I'll have to reset it if I do. But yeah, the video doesn't tell you enough. The video in regards to Kilmar Abrego Garcia, in regards to the Venezuelan boats, it just doesn't tell you enough. Wish you would have told me. No, handsome conservative. We listen. Sometimes we do have that. No, handsome conservative. I appreciate the sub. We do have sub only lives. It absolutely does happen because sometimes because I have so few MAGA and I like talking to MAGA. Sometimes I will put it on sub only live so I can focus more on MAGA because I have a lot of MAGA on YouTube. So a lot of times I will actually do that. So no, you appreciate the sub. That actually will be you will be using that. So thank you for that. But I like I said, I would like to see more from the Trump administration to back up what they say. It's simple as that. It's simple. It would make I'm not in the camp of everything he says is bad or everything he says is good. I just believe in trust but verify. And these boats being blown up off the coast of Venezuela, none of them are sizable enough to even make the journey back to the United States without stopping and refueling at least a few times. That's not being explained by the Trump administration. If this boat is going to bring drugs into America all the way from Venezuela, that means obviously it's got to stop and refuel. Why aren't you going after the refueling stations? How do you expect logistically for this to work? They're just blowing up boats. So I'm questionable on it. Like I said, I'm questionable on Kilmar Brego Garcia. And the reason we're talking about America potentially being at war with itself is because now you have, and I see in the comments, Freedom Fighter says straight up murder. We'll have to see. There'll be subsequent investigations done on the boats being bombed in Venezuela. Once Trump is no longer in power, because obviously murder doesn't have a statute of limitations, and I don't expect anything to come out of it for Trump. Trump's going to die an old wealthy man. Nobody's going to lock Trump up or anything like that. But there may be other people that can be held accountable if these were, as Freedom Fighter said, if they were actual murders. But I would like to see more evidence that, because right now we're being told, according to a Trump tweet, he's suggesting that Portland, Oregon is war ravaged. Once again, I would like to see some evidence of this stuff. I don't see. Here's what he says: at the request of Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, I am directing Secretary of War Pete Hegseth to provide all necessary troops to protect war-ravaged Portland and any of our ICE facilities under siege from attack by Antifa and other domestic terrorists. I am also authorizing force if necessary. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Portland is not. Where is that coming from? Now, there may be some uprisings in Portland. We can certainly talk about that. War ravaged? Gaza? Kill Ukraine? That's war ravaged. What makes him suggest that Portland is war ravaged? First thing I would want to know is what is his definition of war ravaged? There's no war going on in Portland. So when I say America is at war with itself, it does appear to be that way. It does appear that Trump has a very itchy trigger finger, and it does not take much dissension, doesn't take much resistance. Appreciate the hat, mustache, handsome conservative. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. It doesn't seem to take much resistance or dissension against Trump before he jumps up and elevates it to some sort of exaggerated claim of war ravage. I mean, this is what happened in I think so far, I know for certain when they sent in the National Guard to Los Angeles, it was greatly hyped up from what it actually was. I can't really say on Washington, D.C., because the goal in D.C. was just to stop crime citywide. Whereas in LA, he claimed that the rioters and protesters were out of control, and that was not true. But in DC, there may be some legitimacy to what Trump did, at least in part. But it looks like in regards to Portland, in regards to Los Angeles, and in regards to his threat, because they're threatening to go into Chicago the same way. All of that does not seem to be legitimate. Unless, like I said, somebody can show me something otherwise. Portland is a lost city, says Mike. How so? What is your... See, just like Trump said, is war ravaged. Mike, my first question to you would be, what is your definition of a lost city? What about Portland? I mean, if you want to go to Portland right now, you could go to the movie theater. They got restaurants you could go to and have a nice meal. There's plenty of 3, 4, 5 star hotels there are available. You go in and buy a car. I mean, what is the definition of a lost city? How is Portland a lost city? Look at the kill rate in Chicago, says John Musar. The kill rate in Chicago, and keep in mind you're talking, somebody who views Chicago as my home. Listen, you can the tourism in Chicago is still outstanding. I mean, the museums, the skyscrapers like the John Hancock Building, what is the Willis Tower. There's plenty of activity still taking place. Chicago is. It's not like you go to Chicago and there's a high statistical probability of you getting murdered. Chicago's a liberal city, formerly connected to Obama, liberal governor, and it has a history of tough gun laws. So it just makes for a really good target for the left, I mean for the right rather. But Chicago, I can tell you as somebody who goes to Chicago, and I'm not going to deny there's crime there. It is nowhere near as bad as folks on the right make it sound. It is nowhere, and it's not uncommon to have folks go to Chicago and say that. People who have been seeing nothing but Chicago on the news when they actually go there, like, I don't see what they're talking about. It's not as bad throughout Chicago, as many would say it is. But we'll go to the box. Dean, you'll be there in 2 weeks, gangster grandma? Wow. Okay. All right now. Good evening, Dean. Welcome to the program.
Hey, bud, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Good to have you on. So the question is, are we at war with ourselves? What the hell is going on? We got more military in U.S. cities now than ever before since probably the Civil War. What the hell is going on?
Man, I don't know. It's scary. And like Trump said to Pete Hedgebreath, shoot him in the leg.
Wait.
You hear that?
No. You're telling me that Trump actually told Pete Hegseth, gave him authorization to shoot people in the legs?
Yeah. Yes, because he was being questioned about that, and he couldn't come up with a straight answer. I forgot who was asking him the question about if Trump told you to shoot him in the leg, would you? And he couldn't answer the question. But Trump told him to shoot him in the leg.
Well, are you saying Trump told him to shoot him in the leg because somebody confirmed it or because he wouldn't answer the question?
I can't answer that, to be honest with you.
Okay.
But anyway, the reason why I came up, Tim, remember I was talking about my wife?
Yes, I do.
Yes. So, I got hit with an insurance bill of over $16,000 after the insurance paid. Yeah.
So they ain't covering shit. There's a lot they're not covering.
Yeah, this insurance bullshit, and it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. Now, Plan B on your Social Security is getting hit with 11.85% increase.
Is this going to be something that's going to happen to a large portion of America?
Who's ever on Plan A and B on Social Security is going to be getting hit with 11.85% increase on Plan B. Never. There's going to be an increase on Plan D too.
The thing about it is, I'm still hearing from folks who are suggesting that, Trump is doing a great job for this country. I don't know. For some reason, what you're talking about, why do you think so many MAGA don't see it that way?
I have no idea. They're blind. I don't know, Tim. I don't know.
There is something, because I'm being told by folks that Trump is the best president we've ever had, and the way what you're talking about obviously goes against that. So there has to be something that's keeping MAGA viewing him in this highly respectable light. That because for you he's causing you nothing but misery and pain. So what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do with a $16,000 expectation?
Yeah, so my wife's hospital bill was almost $30,000. I got to pay $1,000 on that, $1,500, and she spent 3 weeks in a rehab. The insurance paid, but yet it still cost me another $16,000 on top of that.
What about like Gangsta Grandma in the comments? One of the viewers is talking about a GoFundMe. You ever thought about doing something like that?
I've been thinking about it, but you know what? It's hard times for everybody.
True.
I would do a GoFundMe, but man, I don't want to beg from anybody.
Well, you owe this money to the insurance company though, right?
I do.
Well, I would say in terms of having assets in your name, get things out of their way. But I mean, for the most part, there's only so much they can do to come after you for it. You may just end up having to carry a debt, but there's no certainty that you got to pay it.
So what my plan is to pay it. I'm going to take $400 out of my because I'm a disabled vet, Vietnam vet. So I'm going to take $400 a month and put it towards my $16,000. But it's going to hurt me too. But I just want to get this bill the monkey off my back.
Okay, well, now in the comments, Handsome Conservative said he's on Medicare. He says, "Are you talking about Part A and Part B on Medicare?"
Yeah.
There you go. Wow. And this, what did Trump change to make this happen? And by the way, KO Surge, I see, says, "I'm in Chicago right now. ICE is targeting all Latinos." Shit. So they're all over the city then. Because Chicago has a huge Hispanic population. We'll talk about that in a minute. But what did Trump do, Dean, to make, because this would not have happened under Biden, right? What you're going through, you would not have went through this under Biden, would you?
I don't know. It might have, because my wife's on the Affordable Care Act, and she doesn't turn 65 until April. So I'm paying through the Affordable Care Act. And the Affordable Care Act, that's costing me it's over $500 a month.
What would you be better? Because I know Trump is trying to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. I'm assuming that would put you in more in a bind than you are now, would it not?
Yeah, but like Trump said, he has a plan. He has a concept of a plan, but he hasn't said anything about it yet.
Well,
those are his words.
I mean, listen, Trump says some interesting things. I mean, that's just kind of how he works. But because originally it was repeal and replace Obamacare, but now it just seems to be a repeal. There's no idea of what it's going to be replaced with. In fact, he's not even talking about replacing it with anything.
No, the insurance is just going up.
It ain't like Go ahead.
Some people are paying $175,000 a year for a cancer treatment, a six-figure number for people with cancer. How do people pay $175,000? It's either alive or unalive.
They don't. That's what I said. They carry the debt. I've had to do that before when I had some major issues and I didn't have the money. I mean, you just have to carry the debt until they forgive you sometimes. I mean, that's the way I got out of it. I mean, I carried the debt for a few years, gave them a few pennies on it every month. And finally, they just said, listen, they wrote it off. I had one of the hospital agents call me and she was like, "I got a Merry Christmas present for you." "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "We decided to contractually write off." It was a big amount. It was 5 figures that I owed. So, I mean, sometimes you just going to carry the debt. But see, in your case, because you stated you do have some finances, they're gonna feel a little bit less mercy on you. Let's say, for instance, you got 70, 80 grand sitting around and your bill costs 50. They expect you to give them the 50.
Well, you know what, Tim? When people are alive, they have grants that go to different facilities where if you need some type of financial aid, I just have to do some digging and see what I can do about that, getting some type of assistance from people that left grants.
I don't know why you're so adverse to trying to GoFundMe. I would try that. I don't think. I mean, in addition to other stuff, listen. Sometimes you gotta ask for help, man. I mean, you're gonna go bankrupt because you don't want to ask for help. To me, I would say at least consider that.
Yeah, well, my daughter's a smart girl. You know, as we're talking, I'll have my daughter write something up and maybe do a GoFundMe. I don't know.
I would say at the very least consider. I do gotta move it on, unfortunately, because I'm doing an abbreviated lie tonight. But I would say certainly consider that, man.
Okay, Tim, I'm following you. I hearted you, and we're on the same team.
Appreciate that,
God bless
Dean.
you, brother.
Thank you. Good
Thank
luck.
you.
Good luck. All right, moving on with the program. By the way, tap the screen. I have not asked that. Let me know. The doctor should know about programs, says Arlita. The doctor, he's also a veteran. People we mentioned the VA. We mentioned what is the other group? I cannot the VFW. What is it? I cannot think. I'm not a veteran, but there for veterans, there's more avenues, but to me, the GoFundMe page is something I would not take off the table either. Continuing on, though, my mother had $140,000 hospital bill. The hospital wiped it, and she was in the ICU for 3 months. Yeah, I mean, because at some point, the hospitals know this is a bill this person is never going to pay. I mean, the hospitals and medical facilities know the average American, earning 60,000 or so per year. Once you start getting into the five figures, you're probably not going to get paid by that person. You're just not. I mean, at the very least, it's going to take you a long time, and they may be able to pay you something on it. And I'm talking five figures, like just owing 10 or 15 grand. Somebody, you got a patient that owes you 40, 50,000 bucks, and that's most of that's like a whole year's salary for them. They're not going to be able to pay that. They're just not going to pay it. So that's why they often do write some of that stuff off. Also, the drug companies have programs. I was not aware of that, Arlita. Let me continue on, though. Real quick, I did want to make sure I didn't miss these super chats. Will G says they say the rapture is. Oh my, have they went back to this again? Will G says they say the rapture is coming back Monday or Tuesday. They say God wasn't aware that we follow a different calendar. Who the hell is saying this crazy shit? I'm going to tell you something. In the face of the Christian nationalists, the far evangelical right, it's making me more and more atheistic as the days go on. I mean, look, I grew up, I always say this on the program, I grew up in the church, grew up wanting to be a pastor and things like that. As I've gotten older, started asking questions, got a little bit more intelligent or educated, a lot of things, I've started questioning a lot of things about religion. But what has been going on, certainly under the Trump administration for the last 10 years or so, where I'm seeing folks doing some pretty cruel shit and calling themselves devoted Christians, it's just really pushing me more towards the atheistic side. I'm like, if this is Christianity, I don't think I want to be a part of it. I'm seeing some people do some really cruel, uncaring, lack of empathy type shit, and they're saying that they're Christians. I don't know. I don't know. Even Charlie Kirk, who was obviously very devoted, but some of the things he said, it's like, really? I don't know. I mean, so it is making me rethink some things. Do you know anyone that thinks they're worthy in giving away their possessions? No, I don't. You're saying in regards to the rapture is coming, do I know anybody that thinks that if you start giving away your shit, then I think you truly believe the rapture is coming. A concept of a plan has been 10 years. Trump ain't shit, says Will G. Says, okay, and he did say a concept of a plan, but like I said, at this point, Trump is not talking about replacing Obamacare at this point. He's just talking about repealing it. Let me go back to the box. Do you like Tyler instead Skidmark? Do I like Tyler? Are you talking about Tyler Robinson, the one that took out Kirk? No, of course not. That's horrible. Nothing to like about him. I don't like anybody that goes out and murders somebody. Even if the person you take out, I consider an adversary. I wouldn't like you. Look. I don't think Charlie Kirk did anything worthy of somebody harming him like that. Gangster grandma.
Yes.
Good evening.
Yes, he went leaning to the left and leaking shit. I don't give a damn.
You need to
One
stop
left
that.
racist.
You need to stop that.
No. And let me tell you something. They're not Christians. They are Christian nationalists. The fake. I would never, ever deny my Christianity because I know what the Bible says. And they know they are evil.
They
They need to go to the pits of hell.
But Gangster Grandma, they reading from the same book.
No. See, this is what they do. The white team man uses the Bible and they pick and choose and they use it as a weapon. They use God as a weapon. And you're not even supposed to do that. And that's why Christianity was here before slavery. And the white man used it even against the slaves.
How? Give me an example of how in modern time Christian nationalists are using the Bible or Christianity as a
You
weapon.
see it every damn day. Oh my God, of 4 ABs. It's in the Bible. You're not supposed to have it. No, it's not. Or it's conception. Is that what is it called? The baby's a baby at conception. No, it's not.
Well, but let me go ahead and
No. Listen, God breathed into Adam. God made Adam out of dirt. God breathed into Adam. That's a first breath.
Okay, but
So fuck that. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They're not real Christians. They're not.
okay, the point I was going to make though, even if AB's abortion is not in the Bible, it does say "Thou shalt not kill," right?
That's not. Oh, let me tell you something. If that's the damn case, you want to do it? Your beloved orange maggot that you like to suck on all the damn time, right? You know what? He did all kinds of shit against the Ten Commandments, adultery, you know, and all that kind of shit. He did all kinds of shit. Some murder. He did the damn Venezuelans and people on boats. Don't even know who the hell they are. Just boom, boom them.
Well, let's be clear,
And
right?
I thought, hey, Tim, I thought you was.
What happened? Are you there?
What?
You broke up. Repeat what you said.
Oh, I had a phone call. I said, I thought you were safe. Now they're going after black people. They had kids in plastic, whatchamacallit. So I thought you were safe, Tibby.
Well, listen. No, wait a minute. Listen, I'm going to defend Trump to the last. I guess I'll have to do.
No. You need to shut the fuck up.
You asked the question. You asked the question. Listen, if you got.
Now, why would you defend him when he had black people in cuffs and detaining them? American citizens, dipshit.
You ain't here because you're talking over me. If you have Trinidad Agua, a group that's in your apartment complex that is listed as a terrorist outfit, they may have to detain and cuff you until they figure out what's going on.
No, put this in his ass. I bend over. You want a whip too? Do you, Tim?
But
do you see how bad you sound?
does what?
You sound disgusting. You're a black man, and you're trying to justify a white man. A white man. You're trying to justify a white man putting handcuffs on black kids and walking them out, butt fucking naked. What the fuck is wrong with you?
I heard because some of this stuff I heard are actually rumors and it didn't really happen.
Well, you know what, Jim? It's all over NBC, whatever that shit. It's all over the news and shit. There's people coming out that was there saying the shit would happen. So quit kissing a white man's ass. And you're not even going to be at his table.
Well, wait a minute. First of all, I'm not trying to be at his table, but I'm just saying.
Yes, you really are. You're fluffy like you. You see? Did you see how you make yourself look? The motherfuckers had kids butt naked coming out with those plastic things.
Is there any actual video evidence of that?
Yes, you dipshit. It's all over the fucking news.
I've seen people claiming it. I haven't seen any video evidence
Oh
of
my
that.
God. Okay. You know what, Tim? You know what? You make me sick. You make me fucking physically sick. You can't fucking kill you. You kiss that man's ass. Go over there and be his bitch, Tim.
How is
Go
this-
over there and be his fucking bitch, Tim.
How-
That's what you deserve. You need to be his fucking bitch. Get the whip. You're gonna be a house ninja. You wanna be that? Go over there and be that. Have the damn his fucking uncooked protein all down your fucking face. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if they believe that. Oh no. You know he will never do that. Get the fuck out of here.
Okay, first of all, I didn't say he would never do it. I just questioned whether it was rumors or whether there was video evidence. I just asked.
It's real. Why would people come out? People that was there. People that got handcuffed. People that 67-year-old was there. That happened.
Okay, and I see in the comments, handsome conservative says, handsome liberal, I also saw the video of the kids being taken out in handcuffs. Okay, all right, listen, if that happened, it's horrible.
They quit kissing a fucking ass, man. Get some goddamn kahunas and say, you know what, that was fucking wrong. They are coming for us. Who does that shit? Having kids naked like that? United States Americans.
So you're saying because it happened in one apartment complex, that means they're coming after all black people?
Oh, you stupid fuck. I know. You know, that white man really got you, huh? Don't you?
No.
I told you, history is repeating itself. And they're doing it now. Just because you think they're going after only brown people, no, dipshit. They're coming after us.
I'm not saying
Hey, I'll be damned.
I'm not saying they're going after or not going after anyone. I'm just trying to get clarity on what you're talking about.
You know what? That's why you shouldn't have a platform if you don't even know what the fuck people are talking about.
You realize how much shit goes on? That's the purpose of the platform. Is to get.
You're uneducated. You fluff so goddamn much, you could be my bitch at the end.
Because
I'm your strap on.
I could be your bitch because I don't hate white people like you do. That's what you're telling me?
I don't hate white people. I hate maggots. There's a difference.
Oh, okay.
I don't hate normal white people. No, but I do hate the maggots that are Christian nationalists that don't like our black asses.
What are you saying? Are you saying that MAGA are abnormal or something?
Let me tell you something, Tim. Right now, they're trying to take ACA away. They're stripping black history out of every fucking thing. They don't want gay people in this society. They don't want trans people here. You know what I mean? They're doing everything against black and brown people. Okay? They are. They're still fluffy. Oh, now I'm Maggie. Let me tell you something. If they're still rocking with him, they are racist as hell. Because they know what he's doing right now is racist as hell. There ain't no coming back. If they're still rocking with him, they're racist.
You ever heard of the phrase promises made, promises kept? It ain't like...
They kept no promises.
You-
Where's the grocery bills going down? Where's the gas going fucking down? Where's our light bill going fucking down? As everything's going up. The tariffs are fucking us over. The 100% tariff on prescription drugs.
I would submit to you, when I say promises made, promises kept, all of the shit you complaining about, he promised he was going to do that stuff.
You know what? Guess what? He admitted. Everybody told us at the left, oh, we're all lying about Project 2025.
Right.
Oh, we're lying about it. He admitted it.
Yeah. He did admit it.
And guess what, you dumb fucks that's listening? You fucking maggots from hell? You don't think it's going to affect you?
Well, but wait a minute. You do understand when I say my beloved MAGA, you do understand.
Oh, my God. You make me sick by touching this shit.
You do understand that when MAGA sees what the stuff you're talking about, the response is, that's what we voted for. They voted for illegals to be put out of the country.
Well, I guess they voted for him taking their food stamps away, right? I guess they voted for them for the Project 2025, right? Being censored, taking your rights away, right?
Well, a lot of the stuff you're talking about, they believe that's just speculation because it hasn't happened to them yet.
He just admitted it on national television.
It has not. He admits all kinds of shit on national television.
He admitted it. Project 2025 is real. The person behind it is fixing to throw a lot of people out of jobs.
I'm just saying, gangster grandma, he admits a lot of things on television that do not culminate and come true. So they don't believe it until they see it.
You know what, Jim? Quit cupcaking. The motherfuckers don't like you. You're never going to be at a fucking white man's table. Do you comprehend that? Do you understand? And you know how pathetic maggots are? They will never be at his table. They are too goddamn poor to be at his fucking table. He don't like your fucking white tea asses and your Mexican asses and your brown asses and your black asses that voted for him. He does not like you. You're never going to be at his table. And you little maggot ass that, you got fluff. You got chicken uncooked protein.
So, and I see in your comments, Jim Beam says, brother, handsome man, you got this lady on here. She should be in a comedy channel. I'm trying to figure out, though, because he says you should be in a comedy show, but I'm trying to figure out what type of America do you think Trump is trying to bestow upon us? The way you...
What do you fucking think, you dipshit?
What
do you think, Mac? What do you think, you uncooked protein ass? You little servant. What do you think? He wants it to be white, and this country never was white.
How about maybe he's just protecting crime and defending the border?
Oh, protecting crime. Well, you better take all the white team in.
Or
and shove 'em
protecting
up the ass.
protecting the border and trying to reduce crime is what I wanted to say.
Well, actually, the border people ain't the ones that are doing the crime, Pookie. It's the white team men. And you know what? This ain't black fucking fatigue. I got white fucking fatigue. I'm so sick of turning on the damn news, and all we're seeing is white men going by fucking Polar, shooting up at the goddamn thing.
Well, I mean, there is stuff in
That's
it,
fucking white fatigue right there. Like, damn.
but you know,
Motherfuckers, you can't shoot your own people up? You gotta go shoot up everybody else? Goddamn, can you at least, when you aim a motherfucker, can you at least do it the right way?
I
Or
wasn't.
at least go by the African orangutan up there. You want the orange orangutan, go unalive his ass. I'll give you a cookie.
Don't call for the death of the president. That's
Oh,
disrespectful.
I do. Well, let's squeeze that fucking orange. I don't give a fuck.
You're being disrespectful. All right, so
I don't give a damn. He's being disrespectful for us.
how do we?
I'm not like you. I'll never kiss a white man's ass. I'll never bow down to a white fucking man. I'm never going to do that. Never, 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 never. I'll never suck on a white man like you do. I'll never, never, never do that. Never. I'll never sell my soul to the white T-devil.
I don't know who's selling their soul. We're just having a
You
conversation.
are? I might be loving Maggie, and so look, I need to talk to you. I gotta go and get on X and everything just to get them on. For what? So they can lie in your fucking face and tell you it's fucking rain and they're pissing on you?
They're telling me you're telling the lies. That's what they say about you.
You know I'm not.
I'm just
And
simply,
you know that.
I'm just-
Take your bleach ass and turn your ass black to black again.
what is
All
what?
you do is drink so much goddamn bleach. You want to be white so fucking bad and be at that man's table, and you're never gonna be there.
Why are you so focused on race? Is everything racist? Racial?
Because, let me just because this is about race. You dipshit. This is about race, okay? He's not kicking out the white T-man that stayed over visas. He's only kicking out black and brown people. He had kids over there in Chicago handcuffed.
Okay, first of all, what happened in Chicago could be at the hands of some rogue ICE agents. Why are you blaming?
Shut the fuck up!
Why are you blaming Trump for that?
Oh my God! Oh my fucking God! I swear to God, you're fucking white. You know what? You're not even a Democrat. You're not even a fucking liberal. You really are not. You are undercover maggot. You are a fucking undercover maggot. Now go get a strap on and go fuck yourself down.
I just asked.
How about that?
I just asked a question.
Now you always ask some stupid ass question. You know who's behind it.
I know that Trump is behind deploying ICE to Chicago.
And you know Trump is behind everything.
No,
They jump. They're his bitches.
I'm not for certain that if an ICE
Oh,
agent,
shut the fuck up.
if-
and
if
shut
an-
up
if an-
for certain. Trump, go take your black ass up there. Go take your ass up there and go shove it up your ass, Tim. Go up there and say, oh, God, you know, I'm black. You don't put me in jail. Let them beat the fuck out you.
that ain't what I was. Wow, I'm just simply saying if an ICE agent goes rogue, you blame Trump for that?
All of them are going wrong, you dumbass.
They're not all going
All of
rogue.
it's going wrong right now. What they're doing, ICE has never done this shit before. Never.
Maybe it's because
Never.
maybe
They
it's,
never hit indoors. They never did this shit. They never beat down people. They never pushed the damn protesters. None of the shit they ever did.
because nobody ever secured the border and defended it like Trump.
It's never been. Oh my God, that fucking God. You know what, Tim? Get your white ass and go kiss his ass and go suck on his goddamn dick. Because just so you're making me fucking sick, Tim. You're making me say it's not secure. Name me one fucking policy that he's done to make it secure. I'll wait.
How about getting illegal immigrants out of the country? How about that?
20,000 less than Biden, you dumb fuck. Try again.
Give him
Try
time.
again.
Give him
Try
time.
again.
Let him.
Name a policy. Name a policy that he did to close down the border. I'll wait.
Well, he
I'll wait.
Did he not get rid of that? Did he not reinstitute remain in Mexico? Got rid of the asylum?
No. What are you talking about? That's how dumb you are. That's unconstitutional.
You asked for a policy. Now you want to claim it's unconstitutional.
That's not a policy right now. I'll say right now, what policy did he do to do the border right now?
I just told you.
Nothing.
I just told you. He got
That's
rid.
not a policy.
Okay.
Name it.
That's your opinion. I gotta move it on, Gangsta
That's
Grandma.
not. No, Tim.
I gotta
that's
move
not
it
a
on.
policy. Mexico is not a fucking policy. And do you see how I go off on you? Because you kiss these damn white people's ass. That's why they come up here and they say, oh, I disrespect you. I'm going to disrespect you till you start learning the fucking truth and stop believing that damn white man. The border is not secure like you think it is. It's the same. He has not passed no fucking laws.
All right, I'll leave it at that. Thanks for coming through. All right, moving on with the program. I get hammered by now. She says that Trump has not passed any laws. The border is not secure. I don't tend to believe that. By way of yes or no, maybe you guys can help show me the light. How many of you folks believe, by way of yes or no, that the border is no more secure under Trump than it was under Biden? Do you believe that? Do you believe that the border is no more secure now than it was under Trump? If so, type yes. If you don't believe that and you believe Trump absolutely has secured the border, type no. I'd like to see your answers. Will G says, you know they didn't touch any VA benefits for this shutdown. They already know if they fuck with the vets, it will be a huge problem. Shit, they fucking with the generals and every damn thing else. It should be a huge problem already. It should have been a huge problem. Preach. She is 100% right about you. Slave wannabe. Joe, that ain't what I want. When I say tell him something, Joe, that ain't what I want to hear. Joe Shalom says that Gangsta Grandma is 100% right about me, stating that I am a slave wannabe. That's cruel. That's cruel, Joe. That's cruel. And thank you for the input, but that's very cruel. Continuing on. Diddy got 4 years for time. Diddy got 4 years time for trafficking. They railroaded Diddy. They definitely railroaded P. Diddy. A white MAGA pastor got 6 months time and 5 years probation being a pedophile to a 12-year-old. You know, my guess is Diddy got more time than even some black criminals that did some shit. I mean, sometimes they just have their eye on you. I think the problem with Diddy is he's on video beating up Cassie. And even though he was not being charged or convicted for that, they saw that, so they made other charges against him. They went for lengthier terms on that. Take away the Cassie video, and Diddy would probably be out. If people had not seen that, he would probably be out. They're doing that just like O.J. Simpson when he got his second court case in Nevada, and they gave him 9 years in prison. He would not have gotten 9 years in prison if that whole Nicole Brown, Ron Goldman thing did not happen. But we're going to get this motherfucker. He got out the first time, so that's the goal. We're going to get this guy the second time. That's what that was all about. Anyway, looking in the comments, release the Trumpstein files, says Carolyn Smith. I don't think it matters, Carolyn. I don't think it matters. Continuing on with the program. By the way, despite what you may hear in the program, sometimes we do get more liberals than conservatives, but we are MAGA friendly. We've been MAGA friendly from day one. We always have been MAGA friendly. We always will be MAGA friendly. We are now on X, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. If you want to call in and be a live caller like what you've heard, the Handsome Liberal is the name of the platform name across all of these platforms. But if you go over to Instagram, X, or I'm getting enough of them that I'm starting to forget some of them. TikTok, X, or Instagram, we can bring you up live. Doesn't matter what your politics is. Doesn't matter if you agree or disagree with the host. As you have seen, you can certainly be critical of the host on this program. We don't block, ban, or censor. We go left of Bernie Sanders to him having dinner with Q. We don't even have a moderator on this program. So everybody gets to speak regardless of what your political affiliation is. So if you do favor uncensored dialogue, you're in the right place. I'd ask that you give your boy a subscription if you're watching on YouTube. Follow us if you're watching on X, Instagram, or TikTok. Trump equals make China great again. I don't know, Carlos. I think America has kind of made China great again with all of the outsourcing of jobs in call centers and shit. It ain't just Trump. I mean, we've made China great again over several presidents. But Carlos, your comment is guiding through, Carlos. I don't like blocking people, but if you type the same thing over and over again, you know I'm going to have to do it. Anyway, looking in the comments, that man looked stressed after meeting Putin in Alaska. I don't know. Trump didn't look stressed to me. I think Trump was to me. I think Trump was starstruck by Putin. That's what I think it is. I thought he's always thought of Putin as someone to look up to until Putin started publicly embarrassing him. Let me go back to the box. We'll continue it on with Marco. Good evening, Marco. What did you think about ICE detaining black people? Well, you just heard what happened to me talking about that. I think it's terrible. I don't listen. Hang on a second, Marco, before you come up. I'll just say this. Being familiar with the neighborhood where that happened in Chicago, in the South Shore neighborhood, I used to live for years within walking distance of where that happened at. That don't look like the type of area where you'd find somebody that is operating with Tren de Aragua. That building does not look like somewhere where they would stay. Now, the only thing I could see is maybe an African American person that's running drugs or something like that, working for Tren de Aragua, because you do have some people that run product and they have cartel connections or something like that. But it's a tough sell for me to believe a member of Tren de Aragua was staying in the South Chicago, on the south side of Chicago in that apartment building. I'm not buying it, and that's what I said when I started the program off. Is that I'm kind of a trust but verify type guy. And under the Trump administration, when they say something, you just have to trust it. They don't often provide you with anything to verify stuff they're saying. I mean, I can go all the way back to the election is stolen. They're eating cats and dogs. I mean, all of that stuff. They don't normally provide you with anything to verify it by. So you just have to trust it. And there's a lot of things like the boats being bombed in Venezuela or him ending 8 wars. I don't just trust that stuff. I need to see more verification. So that's me. But the Chicago thing where they're, apparently bringing out children zip tied and stuff like that. I'm not buying that was on the up and up unless I see who was detained and see a little bit more evidence of it. But going back to the box, I guess the grandma says, look at me making excuses. I don't know what I'm making. What is too much for you, Tim? Do you need them to come for you? Oh, you said, what is too much for me? Do you need them to come for you first, says Joe Shalom. No, I believe that is a possibility. I'm just not at the point where I'm a 100% convict or 100% exonerate. But I'm closer to the conviction stage because I've heard Trump say a lot of things that are not true. So I would be more closer to that side than saying, no, Trump is innocent, he ain't done nothing wrong. Because he has said a lot of things that are not true. But we're talking one location out of all of the thousands of locations that African Americans live in this country all over the place. This happened at one apartment complex. If there are more and more patterns of this, it'll be undeniable. But right now, this happened in one single location. All right, let me go back to the box. We'll go to Jeremy. I don't know what happened to my last caller, but we'll continue on. Those white people have big ears. What do you mean by that, Paulie? Jeremy, good evening.
Hello, Tim. How have you been?
I'm in the trenches as always. Taking and detaining children and putting them in handcuffs. What say
fuck
you?
Them.
What?
Yeah, fuck them.
Fuck the kids?
Fuck them kids.
That's the actual quote that was allegedly said.
Yeah.
And you feel that way.
If you're illegally in the country, you need to leave. And you know what? And I know people don't want to hear this, but here's the realistic scenario that's actually going to go down when stuff like this happens. The parents get detained first, and then the parents just take their kids back, and it all works out.
Wait, hold on, no, Jeremy. Even when kids often commit crimes, they don't put them in handcuffs. I mean, like if I'm with, okay, because they always say, look, they're going to separate families. If mom goes into a store and shoplift, they're going to separate her from her kid. But they don't put the kid in handcuffs. Why are the kids in handcuffs?
Who knows? It varies is from case to case, but usually it's because kids are unpredictable and hard to control.
Kids have always been unpredictable and hard to control, and they don't put them in handcuffs. Why all of a sudden is it happening now?
You never know. You never know exactly why. I don't feel bad.
You don't feel bad for a child that had no control. Obviously, the kid didn't run across the Rio Grande on his own or buy a plane ticket and overstay his visa. This is a 100% innocent human being, and your response is, fuck him? This is a child.
Yeah, and we have to have standards. We have to have standards about who can come here and who can't.
I don't care what your parent puts you up to as a child. They don't handcuff you. Why are you so in favor of children being handcuffed?
Okay, so let me ask you something. Why don't we define child for a second? Is it just anyone under 18?
No, ain't that how we normally do?
Okay, so anyone under 18, so a 16-year-old can't cause trouble.
If all of them were 16, I would say you win the argument, but we know those kids they were not all over 16.
Yeah, well, I'd say anywhere from 12 to 16, you're already starting to get pretty big physically, and you're already somebody who can make more decisions on your own.
And so your response to that is fuck them kids.
Fuck them kids.
You know, let me just say it like this. And, you know, when folks started celebrating and laughing at what happened to Kirk, do you realize that statements like what you're making now sometimes fuel that?
Yeah, well, guess what? False equivalency.
In your opinion? That's in your opinion.
Correct one.
You said what?
Yeah, it's the correct one.
Well, yeah, that's your opinion. I'm just simply saying, when you have that lack of empathy attitude that you have now, when they see this guy on television bleeding out, they have the same attitude. You can claim that it's a false equivalency all you want, but that's what you're doing fuels that for the other side. These are kids. Again,
all you got to know is that there's probably some kind of reason that you're not being told. Okay, there's context there. And here's the thing, okay? Yeah, when you have to deal with kids, you deal with them in different ways depending on the context. Okay, so when somebody says, oh, these kids are in handcuffs, I'd like to ask them this question. Okay, how old are these kids? And number two, what was happening before? Because if you're gonna tell me like that at a 4-year-old, is being slammed on the ground, boot on their back, and be like, you don't effing move or whatever, and all of a sudden, and then their handcuffs or whatever. Yeah, I tend not to believe that. I'm guessing this is like some kind of 15-year-old. Well, that might have been some kind of trouble.
Well, I gotta say, I'm dying to see the video myself because I have not seen it. But I mean, I got even my conservative guest saying it actually happened. So, and I don't think all of these people were 16 and over. I really don't. I mean, because if that was the case, I think you'd have people speaking differently of it. Because 16, you can certainly get handcuffs put on you at 16. But I'm assuming some of these people were 10 years old and less. I haven't seen the video, so I can't speak as much on it. I see gangster grandma saying they were kids.
That's why. They was kids. I know. And they was using better grammar than they was kids, sweetheart.
You know,
I know. She wants to be black so bad. It's kind of sad.
She is black.
She's not black. Come on. Look at that profile pic. She's whiter than Ivory Snow. And she's about as gangster as Mr. Rogers.
Oh my God. Joe Shalhoub says it's too late once they come for you. That's why you're stupid. You have to stop it early before it comes to that. I think we're already past the point of it being too late. I mean, that was election day. I mean, in my opinion, it's already there. But so
again, I'm not even a Trump supporter, and I know that this is bullshit.
What part of it is bullshit?
That they're just assuming that these are like 4-year-olds or something like that, and it's like, like who knows? Maybe I'll be eating my words, but I highly doubt it. Okay, and the police know that they're under heavy scrutiny for stuff like this, and I just wonder. I just can't wait to find out what the video actually shows.
I don't know how can you be under heavy scrutiny if they're allowing you to wear masks while you're working. Nobody even know who the fuck you are. If you
Because it
go,
looks bad on the administration.
do you think Trump? Do you think Trump gives a damn about what looks bad with the tweets and shit he sent out? Do you think he care about that at all?
He does.
No,
Everyone
he
does.
don't. The man got on TV and said, "I hate Democrats." Do you really think you actually think he cares about what looks bad? Stop talking about Epstein. I mean, he does some shit that looks terrible. He don't care about that.
I think yeah, absolutely, I do. Absolutely. And I'm not even a supporter of his, and I know a little better than to just believe that he
You are a
doesn't care.
supporter. You voted for him. You are a supporter. You
No, I'm not. I don't, like you can regret your vote and not be a supporter anymore.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, considering he's not going to run again, you cast your ballot in favor of him. You just are unhappy with your ballot, but officially, you are a supporter of Trump.
Potato, doesn't really matter anyway. And he didn't stick to what he said he was going to do, and he did, and he actually stuck to what he was going to do back when he was elected the first time. This time he's not.
I mean, well, are you a fan of what he is doing with ICE all over the country?
Yep.
Are you a fan of him sending in the National Guard to various cities all over the country?
I have mixed feelings about that. I think it should only be to back up federal troops with whatever, with like for instance what ICE is doing. But I've already made it clear that DC is fine to get federalized with their police, not other cities. That's not okay.
I'll just say it like
the federal city.
To me, the biggest problem is just, and this is what I was talking about, the Charlie Kirk people laughing at it and things like that because of lack of empathy. I think the problem is, okay, if you want to send in the National Guard to lower crime or to back up ICE or whatever, it's the taunting that is what is pissing people off. I mean, do you need to announce to the world, there's an uprising going on in Chicago. We're going to send in thousands of people and we've authorized full force. Why do you need to put that on the internet for the whole country to see, other than you got supporters in rural red areas that like to hear you kicking ass in Chicago? There is no reason to be announcing that kind of stuff to the whole damn country. So it's the taunting that is what's pissing people off.
Here's the thing that I can't get over with you, Tim. Okay, that you're trying to equate someone who's illegally in the country to somebody like Charlie, who was legally in the country and just using his First Amendment rights. It's actually pretty pathetic and weak. Like,
I'll take that.
I understand that like the left is a cult and a gangster grandma is a cultist because like you're talking to the enemy. That's not okay. You're gonna get kicked out of the cult if you do that again. Yeah, I understand that. Okay,
I'm going. Like I said, I'm certainly going to compare the way people felt about Kirk, because Kirk too Kirk too spoke from a standpoint of lack of empathy. So you can say it's a pathetic comparison or whatever. Like I said, that's your opinion. Just like some folks thought it was okay to laugh at what happened to Paul Pelosi, but it was wrong to laugh at Kirk because Kirk passed away. That's your opinion of it.
Yeah, but it wasn't okay to laugh at Paul Pelosi. I put them in the same category.
Well, your president didn't. The party.
Yeah, that's another reason why I think I'm glad I don't want to support him anymore.
Okay, but I understand that's you individually. But what I'm saying is when the head of the party is laughing at Paul Pelosi and then saying it's wrong to laugh at Kirk, I don't see how. To me, that it's a definite comparison. You may think it's pathetic, but it is a comparison.
Yeah, but I'm not Trump. What am I supposed to do to control him?
I'm just simply saying you don't have to be able to do anything to control people. You should understand how they feel, though. I mean, if you gonna laugh at misery that happens to one side, the minute you face misery, people gonna laugh at what happens to you.
Okay, well, you got to ask the question: what kind of misery is it to be arrested versus to be assassinated?
People don't always see what you're trying to do is you're trying to put levels on it. This is the same argument I used to make. If I slap you and you punch me, I don't get to tell you, well, I only slapped you. You should only be able to slap me back. If I don't want to get hit, don't put my hands on you. If you don't want people laughing at an assassination, don't laugh at their misery.
No. Okay. So listen, I can kind of understand where you're coming from, but okay. So Tim, do you believe that the United States should have the ability to enforce its borders?
Yes.
Okay. So we both agree on that. The reason why Charlie's assassination is different from someone being arrested is because we can both agree, on both the left and the right, it can agree, or at least the ones who are being intellectually honest, and not the ones who are on the far fringes of either side, can both agree that the United States has to be able to enforce its own rules. That's not the same as saying like, oh, somebody who was just using their free speech should be offed in the middle of a tour.
Yeah, I get that part, but I get the point about we should be able to enforce our rules and defend the border, but you don't make jokes about somebody getting consumed by an alligator. That's beyond border security. When you're starting to joke that somebody might get eaten by an alligator, now you're going beyond that. And that's what I'm talking
When
about.
did Charlie do that?
What?
When did Charlie make a joke about somebody?
I'm not. They may not be necessarily laughing because of what happened to Kirk, based solely on what he's doing. It may be a play to get back at the right because everybody knows that Kirk was a big hero to the right. One of your heroes died. Just like if one of the folks on the left go away, you're gonna have a lot of people on the right that are going to think something great about it.
Yeah, but those people are pieces of shit. The ones on the right
To me, there's pieces of shit to go around. I get that. But I'm just simply saying when the right is laughing and making jokes about people's misery, and then all of a sudden a hero of the right passes away, people are going to laugh at that because of what they've been doing. I mean, you're laughing at people dying. You're making jokes about the alligator Alcatraz when people drown trying to cross the Rio Grande. There were jokes about that. I mean, you're making jokes about people dying.
Yeah, but you shouldn't do that, and most people on the right don't do that.
I don't know about most. Let me just say it this way. Let me just say it this way. If the president does it and you continue showing strong support for the president, you might as well be doing it yourself. If you might as well be, I mean, when the president is,
president.
huh?
Yeah, but that's the thing. I mean, Tim, how many times do I have to tell you I don't support the
I'm not
president?
talking about you, Jeremy. I'm not Jeremy.
Fine.
This is not you personally. This is the collective effort. The right is laughing at people potentially being killed that represent left-wing causes. They're doing it. You're not doing it. But they're doing it all the way up to the president of the United States is doing it. So when all of a sudden something happens to Charlie Kirk, what?
Most of them aren't celebrating. Come on, Tim. Let's be so for real.
I'm not. Listen, look, when I see President Trump himself making jokes about what happened to Paul Pelosi, and there's thousands of laughing emojis on his post, yeah, I don't want to hear most of them. I don't care how many of them are doing. The president himself, the person that we believe on the right is the greatest president we've had since sliced bread. That guy is making fun of people damn near facing assassination. So his close friend Charlie Kirk gets it. They're going to laugh at it. They're going to laugh at it because he's doing that.
This feels like a real whataboutism.
It is. It is a whataboutism. It's also another synonym for it could be karma. If I go and laugh at misery of others, and then all of a sudden one of my closest friends get murdered, a lot of the people I laughed at are going to laugh at what happened to me.
Okay, so you're look. I don't know how exactly to explain this to you. I think we're gonna go in the same circle over and over again.
Yeah.
So let's move on to a part of this topic I think we can and make progress on, because you're gonna say that it's most of them that's most conservatives that are laughing at.
It's happening. Look, it don't need to be with one of them. It don't need to be with one of them. If it's being done by your top guy. Is being done by Trump himself. So I don't care how many little guys are not laughing at it. It's being done by President Trump, and the right is not criticizing him for doing it.
The right's definitely going after him.
Bullshit. They didn't go after him for making jokes about Paul Pelosi's husband, Nancy Pelosi's husband. They didn't go after him at all for that. What are you talking about?
Yeah, they did.
No, they did not. You show me Sean Hannity or some well-known member on the right going after him. I'll give you, go ahead and email me, DM me. I got to move it on. But you send me a link of any well-known conservative talking about Trump was wrong for doing that during the time he was doing it. Not after Charlie Kirk lost his life and now they want to have an epiphany. Show me during that time where anybody on the right had a problem with that.
I'll DM you about it. But hey, here's something.
Real quick.
Okay, I think that if these protesters keep trying to block ICE, federal troops should unleash actual bullets.
You want them to be shot for simply impeding the flow?
Because they're not just impeding the flow, they're getting violence. Now, if they just impede the flow, keep it to non-lethals, tear gas, as paintball. But they're not just doing that. If you've seen the videos, dude, you would know they're using weapons. They're actually getting violence until all of a sudden they realize, oh shit, federal troops don't fuck around.
Isn't it interesting that you're claiming they're getting violence and there's no... How many agents have been hurt? I haven't heard about any agent that's been in the hospital.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem with our algorithms. We see different things.
Okay. Well, yeah, like you didn't see the children being brought out naked in handcuffs. I guess you're right. I got to move it on, Jeremy. I got to go. Appreciate it. All right, moving on with the program. By the way, tap the screen. I have not asked that. We're really low in that area. Tap the screen. Get me on up to 20,000. I got to start asking you guys to do that. ICE has been violent for no reason, says Debo. I think ICE is being violent because they can, because they got anonymity with the mask they're wearing, and they do know that the federal government is going to have their back most likely. So they do kind of have a license to get pretty reckless. I mean, they're not going to face any punishment. There was one guy that was all over social media that took a woman to the ground, and apparently they did relieve him of duty. But that's one guy. But for the most part, I think that they pretty much kind of have a carte blanche ability to act up. I mean, Trump is not going to let those guys go down. They would have to be pretty heinous for Trump to not step in and stop them from being punished. I guarantee if Jeremy had any kids close to him, this is in reference to my last caller. Will G says, I guarantee if Jeremy had any kids close to him getting arrested, he would be demanding they be free and be at the next town hall. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that because, well, you heard what my last caller was saying. Though. He believes that the children getting arrested were all here illegally. I don't believe that. I don't believe, and I have not heard any news stories that suggest a bunch of children on the south side of Chicago that were here illegally got arrested. I heard that they actually grabbed somebody who was allegedly part of Tren de Aragua. I haven't heard anything about illegal immigrant children getting arrested. But Jeremy believes that. That's why he said, fuck them kids. He believed the kids were here illegally. I don't buy that. I don't believe that. Too late to regret he's in and doing the damage. And that's true, Will. Like you said, I mean, people are saying, you need to stop him before it's too late or whatever. Joe Shalom said that. Now, it's already too late. He's already in there. There's only two ways for liberals that want to stop Trump. For liberals that want to stop the America Trump is the trajectory of Trump. There's only two ways the liberals can stop him. That is to somehow, some way have a very strong showing in the midterms if the midterms aren't gerrymandered to the point where you can't make any kind of impact. That's probably the only way that they can stop him. And the other way would be Father Time. Those are the only two ways that Trump is going to be stopped. You need a very strong showing in the mid, because if the Democrats have a very strong showing in the midterms, let's say they take the House and Senate, they're going to impeach him immediately. Guaranteed, Trump's going to be impeached immediately because he's done a lot of things that I'm sure they could finagle the wording around to show this was not legal. You know, whether it's a jet, whether it's some of the businesses he's operated while being president, insider trading, some of this ICE and immigration stuff, the bombing of the boats in Venezuela. He's pushed the envelope in ways that I'm sure it won't be hard some way, somehow to show. I mean, going after Comey and all. I mean, there's a lot of things Trump has done. So my guess is if the Democrats win in the midterms, they're going to impeach him immediately on all of that stuff. So his second half of his term will be just court cases. All of that's going to come up. And I didn't even name everything. I just gave you the things I know off the top of my head that will come up. The president of the United States is supposed to be a shining example for everyone to follow. The man is a 5-year-old child. Well, Will, I'll just say this. I don't think once Trump got in office I don't think MAGA believes that the president is supposed to be a role model anymore. In fact, I've had MAGA tell me that the president is not supposed to be a role model. His job is to run the country. I mean, because they say he speaks like a typical New Yorker, calls it straight from the hip. That's not role model material for a kid. So I don't think MAGA believes he should be a role model anymore. That's the way it used to be. And I've had MAGA tell me that, by the way. Tap the screen. What the hell is up? Get your boy on up to 20,000. This is an uncensored program, folks. We are currently live on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, X. We are now live on X. If you want to be a caller, feel free to go to any of those platforms, Instagram, X, or TikTok, The Handsome Liberal, across all platforms. That's the same name on all of them. Unfortunately, I cannot bring people up on YouTube because of how YouTube is set up. But if you want to be a live caller, go over to Instagram, go to The Handsome Liberal on X or TikTok, and we'll bring you up. You don't have to be any, there's no concern of being blocked, banned, or censored, regardless of what your politics is. We're free speech. We're MAGA friendly. We've always been that way. We always will be that way. Argentina women are gorgeous. That's all I know. All right. Stop engaging with this guy. Really gets me mad that he's making money off of this when he's comparing apples to oranges. Robert Pislowski? That's a hell of a name you got. Your last name is actually Piss. Robert Pislowski. Let me know, what do you mean by I'm comparing apples to oranges? Correct me. Let me know. And I ain't making a whole lot of money, but let me know. Tim, we are going towards 3 hours. No, we're not. I see you there, freedom fighter. And I'm looking in the comments. Will G says, MAGA ain't shit. He says they are 5-year-old children too. Well, yeah, there are people that don't believe Trump should be a role model. Let me go back to the box. We'll continue on with the program with one of my subs, King Finn. Joe Shalom says, again, Tim, this is why you're stupid. These aren't regular times, and midterms will be canceled due to Trump starting a war.
Oh,
damn.
Man.
Wait, hold on. Do you believe what my viewer is saying, that the midterms are going to be canceled because Trump is going to start a war?
Yeah. I'm not going to say exactly that, but I'm going to say it's running real fucking close. It's running real fucking close. The shit he's doing, there's no way in hell. He already told y'all he already told his base they ain't gonna have to worry about voting no more.
Yeah, he did say
this
that.
is all part of Project 2025. He already said all of this shit, dude.
Why do you think half the country don't, based on what you're saying, why do you think half the country sees it differently than you? They don't see none of this shit you're talking about.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I really couldn't, because the things he's doing. For the life of me, I can't understand why anybody would support this dude. The only way that you could support him is if you're okay with the disgusting shit he's doing. And it's not, that's why I've said before, or I've tried to say before, but every time I get ready to bring this point up, somehow we magically just get disconnected. And for some strange reason, I can't say
Bring it up now.
Back to you, but I'm gonna say it again, and I've been saying it for weeks now. MAGA is not Christian, okay? Let's just get it 100. Trump is not Christian. He's not Christian at all. There's no way in hell he's Christian. Let's just, you can fade that shit out. And for all you MAGA idiots like Jeremy and MAGA Reacts, I really give less than a fuck what you're saying, because you're not saying nothing smart, okay? MAGA itself is not Christian. If they are Christian, I wouldn't be able to understand how. They are antinomian. Look the word up. It's an antinomian. ANTINOMIN. Antinomian. They're living a lifestyle thinking that just because they scream out, I believe in Jesus, that they don't have to live by moral law. Okay?
I've never heard of that.
It's still a moral obligation for you to be a moral fucking person. Tell me that the definition of that word does not describe Trump, MAGA, and all of the sick-ass motherfuckers who follow them.
Okay, I've never heard this term before. Antinomianism is a theological viewpoint asserting that Christians are free from the obligations of religious or moral law because of divine grace, essentially believing they are not bound by God's laws, stemming from a combination of the Greek words anti and okay. It holds that while God's grace provides salvation, it also removes the need for believers to follow the moral law, even allowing for immoral behavior. Damn.
Does that sound like MAGA or not?
It sounds like some people I know. I mean, to me, if you're pro-life, but you're okay with some of the, if you're claiming to be pro-life, but you're okay with, getting rid of entitlement programs that might help children or the way we're treating immigrants, it does sound antinomian. Yeah, there's some. I can see where you're going with that.
Think about it. I'm not even gonna say another. I know you read it in the comments on YouTube before, but it wasn't just another pastor. The pastor that got arrested the other day and sentenced to this little fluffy ass motherfucking jail sentence he got for 6 months was Trump's top spiritual advisor.
What did he get arrested for?
He got arrested for diddling a kid, a 12-year-old, about 10 years ago. The shit's on my story. I posted it twice. The shit's on my story. Check it out. It's real. This motherfucker. Listen, they're out here doing some of the sickest shit. We're not even going to talk about how Gangsta Grandma schooled you because you know she did.
I don't know anything. I don't know anything.
What? I'm not going to fluff with you tonight. The video's out there. Go look for it. It was babies out there. They went at 3 o'clock in the morning when you know damn well people are asleep. Number one, they went door to door, kicking in doors, looking at fucking people, and they arrested every fucking body. And 3 or 4 hours later, they let everybody go. They never found the Trinidad Agua person that they was looking for because it was all bullshit. They kicked down all of them doors in there. Who the fuck is gonna pay for that shit?
So wait. So you're saying out of all of that, you're saying out of all of that mess, nobody was arrested?
They arrested everybody, but they had to let
No. That's what I'm saying. No, they didn't actually get any actual culprit.
No, they didn't get nobody.
Wow.
No, they didn't get not one fucking person. Nobody. They said the idea that they went in there. They said, "Oh, we're looking for people with active warrants." But don't you gotta have a warrant? Aren't you supposed to know? So what do you
listen? Let me because I know you're gonna accuse me of fluffing here, but it's because I don't see Trump as being that bad. What are you saying that Trump just picked a random African American laden apartment complex and just decided to fuck with the people in there?
The idea here's
there's got to be more to it than that.
He said no, it's not. He said we're looking for Trinidad Agua members.
Right.
So what they did was in that neighborhood, there have been a couple immigrants that went to that neighborhood. Yes, on the South Shore. Okay, there were a couple of immigrants in that neighborhood that were sent by Hot Wheels or from Texas. They were immigrants in that neighborhood. But the apartment building that he attacked had black people, Mexican people, and white people in it. He did not find any immigrants or anybody with an active warrant, and they end up letting all those fucking people go.
Shit. Yeah, I mean, I can't see how they wouldn't how they could get out of that without being sued. Because I mean, like, okay, if somebody got an active warrant, there should be a specific apartment. You shouldn't go through the whole building kicking in doors all over the damn place. That make it clear you don't know where you're going.
Exactly. That's the point. When you tell somebody, "Oh, we're looking for people with active warrants," that means you know where the fuck they are.
But let me ask it to you this way, because this is. But let me ask you this is a good question coming from MAGA. MAGA reacts in the comments to saying, is it Trump's fault? Though he says, do you think Trump is picking these places by hand? Why is Trump getting blamed? It could be like what I told Gangsta Grandma. It could be a rogue ICE sergeant or ICE agent doing this. I mean, why is it getting pinned on Trump?
The idea that Trump is the one who is funding or leading this charge. That's the reason, because the buck stops at the fucking top. When the fucking team loses, does the whole team get blamed or does the quarterback get blamed?
You're right.
As far as I remember playing football, the coach get blamed first. The quarterback get blamed second. And then you go down defensive and offensive lines. So whatever you want to fucking say, Trump's the motherfucker who helped it go. The Supreme Court justices are the motherfuckers who said, okay, you can do whatever the fuck you want to. He was the motherfucker who made that ugly ass ignorant and disrespectful motherfucking speech to the generals the other day, and he's the weak motherfucker who helped fucking send Pete Hex's fake 5-year National Guard ass to go fucking do this shit because ICE was fucking funded by him. So I could give less than a fuck what MAGA React says. Fuck him, fuck Jeremy, fuck Trump, fuck MAGA, fuck all of them.
Well, I mean, I don't want to say fuck all MAGA, but I do agree with the point. I do agree with the point about the coach thing, because when we had 13 service personnel lose their life in that Afghanistan evacuation, they blamed Biden. Obviously, Biden did not plan the strategy, or Biden was not involved in that evacuation whatsoever, but he got blamed for it, just like, you know, Obama got blamed for Benghazi. So based on that type of link, then Trump would be responsible for this. Because no, he didn't pick it out, just like Obama, or better yet, Biden didn't plan how they were going to evacuate out of Afghanistan. He had nothing to do with it. All he did is authorize it. Just like Trump authorized ICE to go into Chicago.
Yep. So you can miss me with that shit.
Makes sense.
I can really give less than a fuck. Twist yourself into another pretzel. Secondly, is America, the war within is Trump on everybody else because he's on a fucking revenge tour. That's the war within. You want to have a war within? How about you go stop the fucking government shutdown? Do your fucking job. Don't get on stage and say, I'm going to go have a meeting with one of the top contributors to Project 2025 until you fix the fucking government, you piece of shit.
Well, that's what I was telling Jeremy when I was talking about, you know, people laughing at, you know, conservatives having an untimely death and things like that. And I said that it is the taunting that causes Trump. I mean, like what you just said, bringing up this Project 2025 guy when you know he is the boogeyman for the left, that's just taunting him. Or when you say Chicago's going to find out why we call it the Department of War, it's the taunting that causes problems. You don't have to do that stuff.
Listen. Fuck even the taunting. How about just do your fucking job? The government is in a shutdown. You know what the shutdown is about. You know damn well they're trying to cut out millions of dollars for the ACA. And that's the reason why they want to pass the bill. But the Democrats say, oh, fuck no. We're not doing that shit because millions of people will fall off fucking health care. How about you take your orange pasty ass into Congress and work some shit out? Stop trying to take away people's motherfucking health care. How about that? How about we start with you just doing your fucking job?
But will it end? Yeah, but when you talk about the Democrats fighting back against Trump in regards to the government shutdown, will that be in vain? I mean, eventually the Democrats are we're not going to, is the government going to be shut down for the next 3 years? I mean, eventually they're going to have to come back and they're going to probably cave in a lot of areas.
Here's the thing. I don't think this government's going to last long enough for it to make it to 3 years.
What do you mean?
I don't. Because the Democrat, I hope to God with Cory Booker, old fake light-skinned ass, and Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer, old ass, I hope they don't fucking cave. I'm not finna sit here and lie to you like I like any one of the three of them. Because if it was Nancy Pelosi, she wouldn't have had none of this shit. I can tell you that right now. Nancy Pelosi would never bow down to Trump's fake ass. And if any one of them had a pair of fucking nuts and was able to do their motherfucking job, the shutdown would have been averted a long time.
I disagree with you on that. I disagree with you on Nancy Pelosi, even though she's very savvy. The minute they tried to take her husband out, she learned all she needed to know. That's why she bowed out, is because they tried to take. Once she realized that she could be in danger, she stepped down. She was fine playing tough lady when people were following the rules, but the minute you start trying to hurt her family, she stepped down. So, and you see Trump will go in that area. So I don't know if Nancy Pelosi would.
It's okay to say. So it's okay for you to go ahead and admit that the right is actually the party of political violence. Then, correct?
I know that I believe that President Trump is running the country like a mob boss. So I definitely believe that under Trump.
I want you to admit what you just admitted to. You just admitted to the fact that once they went after Pelosi's husband, which was who again? The they was who?
I was told it was a I was told it was a gay lover. I was told it was a gay lover that went after.
I'm saying You know exactly what I'm saying. You fucking fluffing right now. And this right here is the shit that I be talking about. I'm not asking you to agree that Trump is the worst motherfucking president. I'm asking you to agree one simple fucking fact. You are acting like a motherfucking MAGA right now.
Well, let me just say it this way. Let me just say it this way. For certain, the guy went to Nancy Pelosi's house to take her out. She wasn't there. They got the husband. That guy was certainly somebody who leaned right. I believe that, yes.
So, again, and you just said out of your own mouth that Trump is the one who's running it like a fucking regime, the Department of War. So it is okay to assume, not even assume, to go ahead and correlate the right with being the party of fucking political violence. Am I correct in that?
I don't exonerate the left from that either, though.
Ooh, wow.
I don't.
See?
I don't believe. I think the left is more than capable of political violence as well.
Okay, so who shot Dr. King?
Dr. King, Martin Luther King.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we're gonna go back there.
Obviously, somebody that did not agree with civil rights, that would have been a right winger.
How much other political violence has been done on the right? Let me ask you that. How many other instances of left-leaning people have done violence, political violence, to the hand of the right?
Well, we had a left-wing lunatic shoot up a softball game. That was left.
Okay, and what else?
I wasn't expecting this question right off the bat.
I know you wasn't, because you be fucking fluffing, and you know I'm finna stop cutting. I'm finna start cutting your ass up on that shit.
No, listen.
Because you know, motherfucker, well, you fluffing.
No. If I want to, I'll answer the question the way you want me to answer it. I'm going to go with what Trump's administration said in 2017. His FBI said that right-wing violence was the biggest threat to this country. Now, obviously, Trump didn't want to have that come out, but that's what Trump's FBI said in 2017. My analysis of, I do believe that there is more political violence coming from the right than the left. But I do believe the left is more than capable of doing it as well.
Of course they are, but have we done it? You know what? I'm not even going to say we, because I am able to look across and say that I am okay with some of the things that conservatives, not MAGA, conservatives like John McCain, Lindsey Cheney, I've looked up to those people. I'm okay with Bush and them. Okay,
wasn't there a guy? There was a guy just today. I think he got 8 years in prison because he went to Brett Kavanaugh's house, the conservative Supreme Court judge, and tried to off him. That's left-wing violence.
Are you sure?
Yeah, he just got sentenced. He just got sentenced. I mean, like a day or two ago, he went to Brett Kavanaugh's house and tried to take him out.
I need to look that up because I bet you it's probably not left as you think. But if it is, I can admit that. I'm not above admitting that, because one thing is for certain: the people that we're talking about, whether they are left or right, are elected people, which means we hire them to do a job. They are not our fucking saviors. And the sooner MAGA figures that shit out, the better off they'll be. People are out there walking around talking about God sent Trump to save America. Bitch, Trump don't care about America. Trump don't give a fuck about nothing but Trump.
And oddly enough, I'm looking at an article. It says Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh's would-be assassin now identifies as a trans woman, according to the court documents. That's left.
Well,
that's left. This is.
I mean, hey, if it is, it is, dog. But I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna add a little fluffery like you do all the time. Doesn't the right have trans people too? Ain't it some trans for Trump people?
Not that they want to admit. That's the person on my screen that did it. This is from September 19th of this year. So,
okay, well,
a couple weeks ago.
If he's a leftist, ain't shit I can say about that. Because the end result of it, if he's a leftist that did that shit, regardless, he did that shit, and he's a very sick individual.
Yeah.
But again, I'm gonna approach it with the same fluffiness you do. How do we know? I want to see them. Let's bring out the motherfucking questions. Bring them the fuck out and actually answer the fucking questions. Yeah, because just because he said he mean right or he mean left don't mean he do.
Yeah, and I see in the comments you got Joe Shalom. He said 6-1 right wing violence versus left wing violence. Jackass. So he's calling me a jackass. He's agreeing with you. He's saying that he's claiming that the right wing violence is 6 times as much as the left. I like to know your source for that. I don't like. Let me just say it this way: a lot of things that might be considered left by the right, us folks on the left don't always agree. Like Black Lives Matter gets involved in violence, or Antifa. People on the left don't view their violence as left wing violence.
Okay, let me ask you this though: are you okay with fascism?
No.
Then you would be considered anti-fascist, right?
Yes,
So
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
I'm just saying because I hear people all the time, even Trump with that ignorant ass shit, because he, of course, he's for fascism. But I hear a lot of MAGA say, "Oh, Antifa, you stupid fuck." If you are not okay with fascism, then you are Antifa.
You're Antifa
you can be
too.
part of the Antifa fucking brand. Whether you like what they did or not, if you are against fascism, then obviously you are Antifa. Anti-fascism. That's Antifa. Please read, people.
That is
I
what.
get really sick of people saying dumbass shit and not knowing what the fuck it is till you go look it up. Go read a fucking book. You don't got Google or Goggle, whatever the fuck you want to call it. They got this really great thing that came out way back in the day called a fucking encyclopedia. Those things still work.
Antifa's not going to be in an encyclopedia. I got to move it on, King Fan, but I do get what you're saying. You got to research it. Yeah, people put Antifa in a class and they don't realize you're right. It's anti-fascist. If you look up what Antifa stands for, a lot of people on the right would be like, that's actually me. I got to move it on, King.
Hold on, really quick. Let me reply to this bullshit before I get off here, because I know you're gonna bring this pretzel face ass motherfucker up next. Let me tell you something, MAGA. Me and you could never be the same. MAGA reacts. Yes, I'm an American, and yes, I do call myself a Christian, but I'm not a Christian or nationalist. Because I don't stand for that bullshit that they do. I don't stand for that bullshit that they say. And I damn sure don't stand for fucking taking party over every fucking thing. So while you twisting yourself in a fucking pretzel to make sure that Trump is your daddy and you believe everything he say and do everything he do, fuck you. Because you the motherfuckers they're probably going to deport next. You and Jeremy. Peace out. Oh, anti-fluffing. That's the new motherfucking movement. Anti-fluffing, bro.
King, appreciate it. Tap the screen, get your boy up to 30,000 in the likes. We can make that happen. Trump is the right man for the right time. Facts, says Jason. Will G says black people are minding their business, and without black people to blame, politics is boring. That's why you see MAGA trying to engage anything black. Well, if you're claiming that the goal is to start civil unrest and things like that, that would be part of one reason to do it. Joe Shalom says, wake up, Tim. Our country is at stake. Stop apologizing for a monster. Not apologizing. Trying to explain. I can see both sides of some issues. You're saying that Trump is a monster. That's a bit strong, but I can see both sides of some issues. But yeah, Will, in regards to what Will has said, the other thing I get from this is Trump and MAGA are trying to push black people around and get a protest or a riot to get martial law going. Well, what he said when he was standing next to Vladimir Zelensky of the Ukraine, and it came up that I think a reporter asked Zelensky why he wasn't holding elections. He stated that some people felt what Zelensky in Ukraine was doing was wrong because he's not holding elections. And Zelensky stated, we're at war. We can't hold elections right now. And Trump, standing right next to him, was like, oh, wow, is that all you got to say is you're at war? And everybody in the room saw the light bulb go off in Trump's head, even if it was only a joke or whatever somebody wants to say. But Trump made it appear as if a light bulb was going off in his head. Like, damn. Okay, so if I declare war, they can't, I'm just simply saying. So in regards to starting some type of unrest with blacks and getting all that, could happen. I'll tell you this, though. Me personally, maybe you guys have a different opinion of this. And tap the screen, guys. Tap the screen. Get me on up to 30,000. We'll take the next caller at 330. Tap the screen if you're on TikTok. Smash that like button if you're on Instagram. If you're on YouTube, feel free to smash that like button as well. Same thing with X. We're on X as well, by the way. But I'm really surprised. I'm really, really surprised that the Hispanics have not fought back, considering how they're being treated all over the country. I don't know if the black community will let it happen the same way. You saw somebody talking about that they can't come to Chicago because in Chicago they got switches on the Glocks or whatever. They not using them. Immigration and the government is they're acting with impunity throughout Chicago. So we're talking about an apartment complex now. Where are all those switches at? So I mean, look, they come so deep, so heavily armed, so intimidating. Even if they start fucking with the black community, my guess is they'll probably get away with it in many cases. I mean, the Hispanic community got plenty of guns in that community. ICE is doing what they want to do. They're going to job sites. They're hanging around Home Depot and places like that. They're springing out of Penske trucks. They're not getting smoked, and there are plenty of firearms in the Hispanic community, and they're able to act with impunity. I mean, there are more Hispanics in America than there are blacks. So unless we're going to be a bunch of savages, wouldn't surprise me if when they start doing this in the black community, if they get away with it too. I'm surprised nobody has even just said, I'm going out in a blaze of glory. If you're talking about you've come from a country that is war torn, the cartels are after you, you're going to be dealing with abject poverty. I'm surprised somebody didn't just say, fuck it. As opposed to letting you send me back to one of these countries where the cartel's going to get me. You're going to send me back to war-torn Haiti, or you're threatening to send me to El Salvador, or you're threatening to send me to Africa, for which I know nothing about. Fuck it. I'm going out and taking one of you. I'm surprised nobody's done that. I'm really surprised that has not happened yet. That somebody hasn't decided to just go out in a blaze of glory, because they are treating some of these people that they are deporting really, really fucking bad. The El Salvador thing was really, really bad. I mean, you don't even have a release date when they send you down there. You don't even know if or when you're getting out. To me, that's worth considering going out in a blaze of glory. So I'm really surprised nobody has actually done that yet. But continuing on with the program, what did somebody say? Fuck off, dude. I'm about to put my glasses on to read it though. What does it say? And the comment just jumped on the screen. Somebody was telling me to fuck off about something, and I did want to read it, but it disappeared. Anyway, all right, we'll continue on. By the way, tap the screen, get the likes on up to 30,000. We can certainly make that happen. Real quick, Tim, just understand that you either a drifter or stupid. Two choices. What am I saying that's so damn stupid? Joe, tell me what the hell am I saying that's so damn stupid? I'm just curious. I mean, look, I can see where things may be going awry, but I'm not going to come at it from a blind aspect. What am I doing or saying that make you say I'm just so stupid on that? I'd like to know what happened with Trump's spiritual advisor. Apparently, he's down for pedo stuff. Believe in yourself. Demons make you doubt yourself, says Paulie. Thank you. I appreciate that. He is just mad because you aren't blindly following, says Zach. I do get some of that. Tap the screen, as I said. Get the likes on up. We'll go ahead and continue on with MAGA Reacts. Good evening, MAGA. Welcome to the program.
Yo, what's going on?
Not much. You got called out.
He always calls my name. Even when I have nothing to do with the dumb shit he's saying, he calls my name. He's like, if you're a Christian and you're whatever, you're a, what did he say? You're a Christian nationalist. So I used the same dumb shit on him. Or what was the example he used? I was trying to turn the stupid example back on him, but he thought I was being serious. I'm just using the same dumb logic he did.
I can't recall what we were trying. This caller is going to whine for a while.
It was like Christian nationalist. It was just like talking shit about, Trump being Christian.
Let me ask you, what do you think of Christian nationalists?
I mean, the actual people are fucking garbage, but just being Christian and liking American, that's nothing wrong with that,
What makes you say Christian nationalist people are fucking garbage?
Well, because they're usually associated with, like, heavy racists. And if they're truly racist, I don't support that. But if they're just proud of their country and they like being Christian, then that's different. But, because the Nazis were Christian nationalists, technically. So, in that way, I don't like that. But if they're just Christians who happen to like proud of their country, then that's fine. Like technically the words are fine, but when you relate them to Nazis and that level of Christianity and nationalism, then that's not right.
Do you see any signs of Christian nationalists on your? I mean, you're obviously MAGA. Do you see Christian nationalists on your side of the fence?
I mean, the evil one or like the technical one?
What's the difference?
One is just innocent, just people just being, Christian and liking American,
That's not.
So you don't understand what I'm saying half the time. This is the problem you have with
I asked you about Christian nationalists. You're talking about the regular ones are just Christian. I'm talking Christian nationalists.
So the actual, I don't know much about them to criticize them, but I'm sure there's a little bit of everything in MAGA because we're so big. We have everything from what you said earlier. We probably have trans, we have LGBTQ. We have a little bit of everything.
I would be real surprised. Yeah, MAGA. I would be real surprised if in October of 2025 you had trans and there were still trans that were MAGA. There were during election time. There are some trans people that voted for Trump, like Caitlyn Jenner voted for Trump. I would be real surprised at this point if out of the trans community, I can't imagine more than maybe 1 to 5% of them voting for you guys. I mean, probably 95% of transgender people are voting against you. You guys are pretty anti-trans.
I was asked this today by my own brother. No, we're not anti-trans. We are anti-kids transitioning. So we're not anti-trans. We're trying to protect kids and women. Kids are very impressionable, and they can be peer pressured and influenced into a lot of things that they may regret later on. So we don't want them to cut off their penis or take hormones at 10. So
yeah, you're kicking people. You're kicking people out of the military, for instance. Hang on, this thing. When you're kicking people out of the military, that's not kids. Those are grown people. You're doing it. You're doing things to grown trans people.
Yeah, but that's the military. The military, you have to be top shape. You have to be perfect. You have to be like a warrior to work there and to be part of it. I mean, that they have requirements to be in the military. Like they were kicking people out for having flat feet, and and you want them to use people who have to take hormones and drugs. If they were being prejudiced against flat feet, why is it? Why did you?
So you're saying that Trump and the right are not anti-trans?
No, they're just using common sense. I
want you to hear this. This is President Trump's presidential address during his first term, and this is why I want you to give me your opinion on this when he says this.
And I signed an order making it the official policy of the United States government that there are only 2 genders, male and female.
Because trans are just people who want to switch.
Yeah, but if he's only going to allow you to have 1 or 2 genders, he's not going to accept the one you switch to. So in his eyes, you can't transition at all. How is that not anti-trans?
Because again, you're still seeing yourself as a woman instead of a man. That's still only 2 genders. But if you want to see yourself as a cat, then that's him. He's anti people thinking they're cats and other animals. You know what I mean? There's a difference between switching teams and saying you could only have 2 teams in a game, and then creating a 3rd team and asking everyone to let the 3rd team play in the fucking Super Bowl.
Yeah, but if you happen to be on that 3rd team, then this person is not an ally of yours.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, trans people are not on the 3rd team. They're just trying to switch teams. They're trying to switch between the 2 existing teams. The ones that want to create their own genders are completely different and even crazier people.
I don't understand what you're trying to say here.
If you're trans, it's in the word. You're transitioning from one team, from one gender to the other. You're not trying to be a 3rd gender. You're just switching between the two existing ones.
Okay, let me see, because he said something. Let me hear this.
The federal government to only recognize the sex identified on a person at birth.
Before President Trump took office, Americans could choose a passport reflecting their gender identity or use a third X option. His inauguration speech signaled the end to this policy through executive action.
As of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
But in April, a federal judge expanded a preliminary injunction, pausing the president's executive.
Okay, they stopped him, but what he said is he's only going to recognize the gender you go by at birth. So if you only recognize the gender I go by at birth, that means I cannot transition in your eyes. So you're anti-trans based on that.
No, you're allowed to transition. We're just gonna ID you with the one you were born with.
Right. So in the eyes of government, in as far as the power you have invested in you, you're going to make it so under your power, at least in the eyes of government, I can't transition at all.
Yeah, but that's on paper. That's not like.
Yeah, but that's documents. That could be all sorts of things.
Procedure.
Yeah, but how could you do all of that and not be anti-trans?
They just want to keep things simple. They want people to
Okay.
use the bathroom that they
right.
belong in.
But that's fine. That's fine that you want to do all that. But what you're doing is anti-trans. Everything you're doing is against what they want to do, and you're telling me they're not anti-trans. The transgender community doesn't agree with any of this stuff. It's anti-trans. Everything you're doing goes against their wishes. How is that not anti-trans?
Okay, I mean, in a way, it's anti-trans, but it's still not in a malicious, like, I'm trying to...
I didn't say it was malicious. I said it was anti-trans. I said the Trump administration is anti-trans, and you said it's not. I didn't go into whether it was malicious or not. I'm just simply saying he obviously does not like transgender people.
Well, you said like or hate. I don't think that has to do with it. I think it just has to do with keeping things normal, keeping them using the right bathroom.
Right.
I think they should have their own bathroom. I think we should have like a third bathroom for trans people, especially if they go in numbers. You know.
I'm just simply saying if your goal is to pass every possible law you can to prevent transgender people from living in the manner that they want to live in, there is no way in hell you can tell me you don't have a problem with them or I don't hate them. Everything that he is doing, people that actually hate transgender people would agree with. He hasn't done anything that a person that hates transgender people would say, no, I don't want you to do that. Everything he's doing is what they would agree with.
This is the part. You use the word like hate. I don't think he hates anything. He just doesn't care. And
he's spending all this time on something he doesn't care about?
Well, because they want to force the majority to conform to what they want. And the majority does not want to do that. That's why they elected Trump. You know, like, it's not about being pro-trans or anti-trans.
Yeah, it is.
It's about taking care of the majority. It's about putting everybody, the majority of people, over they, them, like the commercial said.
Yeah, and I disagree with...
Trans people transitioning and living their life and being happy. Just don't do it at the expense of everybody else.
Basically, you're saying don't do it at the expense of everybody else. In reality, the way they want to live, by definition, is at the expense of. I don't want you in the bathroom. I don't want you around kids. I don't want you on my TV. I don't want you on my beer can. Anywhere I see you, you're doing it at the expense of everybody else, and you're trying to tell me that's not hate. Anywhere they pop up, the right has a problem with it. But I don't hate them, no. I just don't want to see them ever in my field of view. But I don't hate them, no. That makes no sense.
You're pushing it. I didn't push it that far. I was like, no. I think they should be where, you know, their positioning and their accommodation should be equal to their percentage of the population.
I'm going to say what I just said again. Anywhere they pop up, if a beer company makes a contract with them, I don't want to drink the beer. If they selling their merchandise in Target, I don't want to shop at Target. Anywhere they pop up, the right has a problem with it. And you're trying to convince me somehow, some way that that's not hatred.
you're trying to make like 10 different problems into one.
Give me your definition of hatred. What would if a person actually hated the transgender community? Tell me how they would behave.
They would actually go out there and hurt them. They would shoot them. They would, beat them up. They would do.
So you can't.
violent-
So you can't hate.
No,
You cannot hate someone unless it includes violence.
I mean, they would at least say they hate them. I mean, I don't like to paint such like black and white pictures. Things are way more complicated. Like,
Let me say it this way. Let's say you got a
voting. I mean, this is why you're gonna keep losing elections. You're gonna think everyone sees things the way you do, black and white.
no.
When it's more complicated
No.
than that.
This I can see. Trump says the Democrats hate America, and there is far less evidence than all this shit I'm giving you with the transgender people. Anywhere they show up, the right has a problem with it, and you're trying to tell me that that's not hatred. I don't want any books around them. I don't want to see any drag queen shows. I don't want them on television commercials. I don't want them in schools. I don't want them in the military. I don't want their merchandise in Target. I don't want them on beer can. I don't want them anywhere they pop up. I'm gonna have a problem. And that's not hatred. I don't want them in the bathrooms. I don't want them around. And that's not hatred.
Listen, you're misrepresenting all those things. I could go one by one. Like the beer can thing had less to do with the trans representation and had to do more with Bud Light turning their back on people who drank Bud Light.
That ain't shit.
If it
No,
was like a trans
no.
beer and they had their own
Bullshit.
beer and they were promoting it, fine. Even if it was like Bud Light, but it was like a Bud Light Trans or something like that, a beer that switches to like fucking wine or something, and the beer transitions, that would be funny. I would be all for that transitioning.
What you're saying,
Anyway.
what you're saying is ridiculous because it ain't like Bud Light started putting this Dylan Mulvaney or whatever the name of this transgender woman. It ain't like they started putting her face on the can. They sent her a few cans of beer, and I think that may have had some kind of endorsement for her on it. But you purchasing Bud Light as a customer would have, if the right didn't make a fuss over that, you would have never known about it. You would have never known about it. So so for you to try to say this is not hate, I'm not buying it. It makes no sense to me.
I mean, they were mad more at Bud Light than the trans person.
They were mad at Bud Light because they actually collaborated with a trans person.
No, it's not even about them collaborating. It's about them pushing, like, just being disloyal to their customer. I mean, their customer are beer-drinking, football-watching Americans, and they're just going out of their way to conform to the left just to make the left happy,
Like I said, I'm going to have to move it on, but like I said, if it was one issue, we might have a discussion, but fact is, as I keep saying, anywhere the transgender community shows up, the right has a problem with it. I don't care if it's in a movie, in a commercial, anywhere they show up, you got a problem with it. You're trying to tell me that's not hatred.
We're not out there hunting them down. They're trying to, like, shove their penises in our face. There's a difference.
Yeah.
We're not going to out of our way to boycott a trans beer just because it was created by a trans person. No, we are protecting our children, our beer, our women from just people trying to take over something that doesn't. You could create your own and make it popular.
So when they go, when a transgender woman goes in the bathroom, you're trying to protect your. You think the transgender person is going to go in there and assault your child?
No, like my child and women are expecting a certain amount of privacy that they lose when there's other sexes in the bathroom. Okay,
How?
By the way,
If a transgender person goes in the bathroom while your child is in
if I
there?
went into a woman's bathroom, how would you feel? And your wife was in there, or your daughter was in there. How would you feel? Me as a male just went into the bathroom.
They're not walking around the bathroom butt ass naked. I mean, just like you as a man, when you go in the bathroom, hold on. Hang on a second. Hold on. You go in the bathroom.
All bathroom unisex.
That ain't what I. Hold on. When you go in the bathroom, how often do you see some other dude's dick? Even though you in the same bathroom. What?
All the time. Urinals are not that fucking separated. I wish they had big walls between every urinal, but
I don't see it. You see it all the time, really?
Yes. I mean, I've been to a bathroom. It's fucking. There are very few of them that actually take the time to put walls between the urinals.
I'm going to
Unless
tell
you're
you,
waiting for a toilet and using a toilet, which I do for
everybody in the comments, I see, everybody said, because you looking. I see Debo said he looking for him. Cool Ed says you gay. Only way you see another dude's dicks, you glad you looking. You are looking. You don't see nobody else's shit unless you. And by the way, women go in stalls, so it's even harder to see. If you're a transgender woman and you go in the girls' bathroom, they're all in the stall, so it's even harder. But even as a man, if you're in the stall next to this dude, you gotta literally look over and look down to see his shit. You're looking for it.
The bathroom is long because of that. They need more privacy. They need stalls. They need a bunch of shit.
They don't need nothing. They don't need nothing but to prevent your. They don't need nothing but to prevent your wandering eyes from looking at other people's Johnsons. I gotta move it on. Give you the last
if you're
one.
not okay with me being in that bathroom, then you shouldn't be okay with trans people being in that
Well,
bathroom.
the only difference
Trans
between,
women are fine.
but the difference between you and the transgender is not a peeping Tom.
Actually, I got a good example for you.
Real
Why
quick.
is there no complaint about
Quick.
Trans women using the men's bathroom. Why is there never a complaint about trans women playing in men's sport or trans women playing in using the men's bathroom? There's not one single issue with that.
Because there is
women and children.
I'll address it on the other side, but I'll go ahead and drop you. There is what he said there is a legitimacy to why is there never any problem with a transgender man versus a transgender woman. They're just like there's never been a big problem with lesbians versus gays. It's just something about when a man steps off of his platform that society has a bigger problem with. We've always had that double standard. You get a porn movie, there's often lesbian activity in there. If a dude buys a porn movie and there's two dudes going at it, I'm throwing that shit in the garbage can. But if you buy a porn movie and there's two chicks going at it, okay, that's part of the game. So there's always been double standard in regards to that. And that double standard also applies to the transgender community as well. If you got a biologically born girl that is now going around as a dude, she doesn't face the same harsh treatment that a biologically born male going around as a girl acts. I mean, we've always had that double standard. I'm not saying it's fair or it's right, but that is true. He's right about that last piece, that they don't have the same. Like if a biological girl wants to play sports with men, well, first of all, she's going to get her ass kicked in the sport anyway. So you're not worried about a biological girl going to play male sports and dominating. Whereas in reverse, that's likely to happen. So the stigmatism or the concern is not there, but it is a lot of double standard to that. Lesbians don't get treated anywhere near as bad as gay dudes. Looking in the comments though, Tim, how can I call in? You should have a way to request it you're on Instagram, I believe. What am I? I got so many things going. I'm about to start putting labels on the so I know what I'm looking at. I see your comment, but I'm trying to. You're on YouTube. That's what. If you're on YouTube, you got to go to Instagram, TikTok, or X. We're on X Live right now. We're on Instagram Live right now. We're on TikTok. All the same platform name. The Handsome Liberal across all platforms. YouTube does not allow me to take callers. Don't know if they're ever going to change that. Maybe they will once we lose TikTok in this country, because TikTok is an app that a lot of the other apps want to kind of imitate because it has a ton of followers. So they may end up making YouTube where I can take callers, but right now I can't do it. If I could, I would love to, because that's where my predominant MAGA audience is. Tap the screen, will you please? Get your boy on up to 40,000. A lot of lazy thumbs in here tonight. We're talking about the possibility of America literally going to war with itself. A lot of folks are saying that we are on the path to civil unrest, a civil war. The more I'm seeing it, the less I can pretend like it's not a possibility. I had one of my MAGA friends actually tell me he would bet 10-1. He would pay 10-1 that when the inauguration is held in January of 2029 and they decide the next president, it will be Trump again. It will be Trump again. And he's reasonable MAGA. He's not, somebody I would say is in a code, or he loves Trump, but he's reasonable MAGA. He'll call Trump out on some things and agree with some. He's reasonable MAGA. And he believes it. I think at some point the writing is on the wall that Trump wants to run again. Yeah, he's saying he doesn't want to run again. He said he won't do it. He said Project 2025 was made up. I mean, Trump has said a lot of things that has turned out to be clear he was lying about. I mean, all of the immigrants thought he was only going after the bad hombres. I mean, so the election was stolen, the cats and dogs in spring. I mean, he says a lot of things that are not true. So him saying he's not running in 2028, I don't buy it. I've heard that they have a merchandise store in the White House called the White House Store. Tourists can buy shit. Like I got a few shirts and stuff I've bought from DC with the presidential symbol and stuff on them. You'll see me wearing them on the program sometimes. They sell Trump 2028 hats in the White House store. And apparently Trump has taken a few heads of state that was visiting him in the White House to the White House shop and showed them the hats. So President Trump himself is showing world leaders, at the very least, making a joke about it. It could be something more sinister, but at the very least, he's making a joke about violating his own constitution. Two other world leaders. Now, all the world leaders know the president only gets to be in for 8 years max. So he's kind of symboling to them, giving them symbolization that I might not be gone in 8 years. Look, if you got your own small business or you hanging around a MAGA rally or something like that, and you want to sell Trump 2028 hats, I don't see a problem with it. Capitalism, I don't see a problem with it at all. But the president himself should not be involved in that. The president himself should not be involved in promoting something that is clearly unconstitutional. He shouldn't be involved in it. So the fact that he's showing it to other heads of state at the White House and things like that, if he runs for president again in 2028, there's nobody out here who can say that he didn't at least warn you that he was talking about doing that. I mean, he's made all sorts of jokes and references to it, or statements in reference to it. So yeah, I believe that he will try it. I don't know how to turn out, but I believe he's gonna, if as long as his health stays up, I believe he's going to, because let's be clear, if Trump once Trump leaves the White House, he probably will give himself all sorts of blanket pardons. But people that are friends and associates of his are going, he's going to have to pardon a lot of people. There's a lot of people involved in some of the stuff he's doing. So best way to prevent that from happening is don't leave. Ed G says, if a white guy says he identifies as black and you say you can only identify with what your DNA agrees with, that doesn't make you anything, just science. I'm okay with entertaining the science argument, Ed G. But that wasn't what we were talking about. We were talking about whether or not MAGA hates the transgender community. Listen, there are atheists that say that science doesn't back up religion, but they don't go around hating Christians. What Trump is doing shows I really don't like these people. Like I said, anywhere they show up, MAGA has a problem with it. If you're an atheist, you don't have a problem with Christians opening a church in your neighborhood or something like that. MAGA would have a problem with the transgender opening a bar or something in their neighborhood. They would have a problem with that. So that's why I said to hate things. The difference between what you're talking about in regards to science versus hatred. To me, what MAGA does with the transgender community, it's along the lines of hate. And my last caller did not want to admit that. That's fine, but if whatever your definition of hate is, I can't see how they don't meet that. Tap the screen, get us up to 35,000. It's up to your team on sports and in the restroom. Just handle your business. Why are you being weird, huh? Sure, but you said it's up to your team on sports and in the restroom. Just handle your business. I don't get what you're saying there. But I listen. Would you want LeBron James to identify as a woman and go play in the WNBA? Would that really make sense? That should not be allowed. Not only would he make the games really unfair, people could get hurt. Because they don't even dunk in that league. He has no problem dunking. So now he's dunking. You can't have that. You can't. I don't believe biological males should play in women's sports. And I don't think the transgender community helps their cause at all by trying to venture in that. That is a bridge too far, in my opinion. You could really hurt people doing that. People who exist and can love wait a minute, people who can resist and love Christian nation assholes, says Joe Shalom. So you're saying that people who exist and can love are greater than Christian nation assholes. Okay. All right, let me go back to the box. Are you guys tapping the screen there? I'm gonna make sure I didn't miss any super chats and make sure there's somebody. No, there's no spamming there. Obama 2028. I don't think Obama will be allowed to run. Jack Frost, you're welcome. I see you says thank you. No, because I think if they allow Trump to run for a third term, my guess is they will finagle the rules in a way that Obama can't run, such as just simply saying the only way you can run for a third term is as if your previous terms were not consecutive. That would give Trump an opening that Obama wouldn't have. They'll make it in such a way that Trump can run and Obama can't. But I'm not for certain that if Obama could run, he would do it anyway. I'm not for sure he wants to get back in that. Michelle Obama doesn't want to be a politician. She said that. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot of stress on your family for you to run run for president. They're going to attack all of your family, the kids, cousins and shit. Everybody's fair game. Remember when Obama ran, his pastor was getting attacked. They're coming after everybody. So I'm not for certain that if Obama could run again, he would do it. Michelle would divorce him, says Magari. I don't believe that. I don't believe Michelle Obama would divorce him. Continuing on, we'll go to the box shortly. Tap the screen. Get us on up to 40,000 in the likes category. Get this third term crap out of here. I get this third term crap out of here. I don't know why people think he's going to have a third term. Don't know why people think. Well, Kyle Ivey, you can't fault the people for suggesting President Trump is going to have a third term when he's walking around selling 2028 merchandise. If you want to get the third term conversation out, if you want people to stop talking about that, how about start with him? If he's going to talk about Trump 2028, you can't tell the people they should shut up. He's doing it. He himself is talking about potentially running for a third term, selling merchandise and shit. So, let's start with the top. If you want people to stop talking about it, how about we start at the top? But as long as he's talking about it, you can't blame other people for talking about it as well. You can't blame people for saying he wants to be a dictator when he's making references to being a dictator. He himself tweeted out a picture of him wearing a crown. King Trump did that. So if he's going to make slight and references to be a dictator, but then it's wrong for other people to say, to me, you want to censor the people. It starts at the top. All he has to do is stop talking about it, and that would correct a lot of that. Gays and Jews for Trump 2028. I like the comedy there, Gillantine. Obama could drink because he was used to drinking Michelle's balls, says RJ. Another one of those comments that Michelle Obama is a male figure. Trump will say anything except release the files. Now, he definitely ain't going to say that. He don't want that Epstein shit to get out. It's called trolling and you are taking the bait. Well, Christian, there are, listen, if it's called trolling and I'm taking the bait, understand when you troll, the goal for you doing that is for somebody to take the bait. If your goal is to have somebody else get upset, pissed off, you want liberal tears or whatever you call it, then quit acting shocked when they actually become pissed off. That's your goal. You're trying to piss them off. You're trying to stick it to the libs. I don't understand why they have Trump derangement syndrome. Why do they hate him so much? Wasn't that your goal? To me, it makes no sense whatsoever. I'm going to troll you constantly and then act shocked when you get upset. That's the goal of trolling people. If Trump trolled people and they didn't respond, he stopped doing it. The goal is to get them upset. Okay, so they're upset. Quit acting shocked. You're kind of getting your wish. Continuing on though. Tim, you are all right. Thank you. People turn off their thinking skills when it comes to opposing political opinions. In the United States, people can still have different ideas. And we want to keep it that way, Thomas. We want to keep it that way. some folks are starting to believe that under Trump, the goal is to make it so that folks cannot have opposing political opinions. We're not there yet, but folks do believe that Trump has a goal of limiting that. What he did with Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, and even threatened to do to Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers makes it kind of hard to deny that he is interested in limiting free speech from his adversaries. I mean, if you're going to go after Jimmy Kimmel and Seth Meyers and Jimmy Fallon, because they always say negative things about you, but you're talking about how much you like Greg Gutfeld, then you're okay with biased comedy. You just want it biased in your favor. That's not good. Let me go back to the box. Are we at 40,000? Not yet. Tap the screen. I would love his operational skills, but I bet we can find someone that's not 70 like you guys. Sherbert, I don't know what you mean by that. We'll go ahead and continue on, though. Looking in the comments. Tim, the sky is falling. Okay, I'll be first to get hit in the head by it. No, Obama would piss in the orange monster's red hat. Jeez, that's cruel. Obama. The only thing dumber than Trump is those who believe him. Damn, sassy. Yikes. Anybody who is for Trump is a fool because he will never care about you. Brace yourselves. Well, he's doing things that they believe. Look, people voted for Trump for a reason. And a lot of the reasons they voted for Trump, he is carrying that stuff out, defending the border, the way he talks about going after liberal cities and crime in liberal cities. He is doing some of the things he promised. Not all of them. I'll agree with that. Not all of them, but he is doing some of the things he promised, and people are happy about that. Sherbert, good evening. Welcome to the program, Sherbert.
How's it going, Tim?
Not much. What's going on? I see King Fitz and let you. What's going on? What am I getting wrong tonight?
Honestly, I just came up and been fighting with MAGA Reacts within the comments.
I thought you and MAGA Reacts always have a nice, pleasant conversation.
Oh, that's definitely me.
Oh my God.
But he's being very racist against transgender people and being an ass like he always is. You've said it before. He is there just to defend Trump no matter the point. He turns himself into a pretzel. And in this moment, I'm feeling very aggressive towards him in the comments.
Now, let me correct you, though. Let me correct you. I didn't say MAGA Reacts is here just to defend Trump. He said it. He said that's his job. He said.
I've heard you say that.
Oh yeah,
over his own comments.
I just want other folks that don't know to know what happened. I'm not accusing him of doing it. He said it himself.
I'm just confused by MAGA Reacts not understanding that trans people will be attacked within the men's restroom. And he's okay with that in the same way that most Republicans are okay with school pew-pewings.
I don't know about
how the world we live in.
I don't know about the school pew-pewings, but I definitely think most MAGA would be okay with a transgender male getting attacked in a female bathroom. I think they would be okay with that.
No, Tim, it's a yes on both, because if it wasn't true, they would actually try and do anything other than cover up the Epstein files.
Well, I can't argue with you. I mean, when it comes to school pew-pewings, the right, they don't do anything to address it. They don't. I mean, and I would give them, I would give them the time of day and defend them if I saw something. But no, the right don't address school pew-pewings at all. They move on from that shit like it is toxic. They give you thoughts and prayers, and the next day they're not discussing it anymore.
I wasn't paying attention to politics back before all the craziness. But I remember everybody being pretty calm and pretty chill about even really bad things. And now it's just, I hate my political enemies. Let's go to war about everything. Let's put the military into cities that do not want the military. It's just getting really ridiculous. And it feels like it started with Moms for Liberty. Mm-hmm. Trying to get rid of everything and,
You mean the books and all of that stuff?
Free speech.
Yeah, you mean like banning books and stuff, getting rid of books and shit?
They were the first wave of hatred.
Wow. But do you see hatred in Trump himself?
Tim, he literally said, I hate my enemies. my political enemies. He said it over and over again.
Yeah,
even
but
though
hating, yeah, but
his wife said that she forgives the person that did that, and he said, "Nah, I hate him." So
Yeah.
what are you talking about, Tim? Don't fluff.
wait a minute. Hating your political enemies is not the hate. I'm talking about like racial hate, sexism, transphobia, or homophobia. I'm talking about that kind of hate. Hating your political enemy is a different type of hate. I'm saying, do you see that sort of hate in him?
Generally, yes.
Examples.
Muslim ban.
He did say that. He did say that.
There's proof on everything he says. He says it onto his own social media. He has it archived by himself, paying for it. What are you fucking talking about, Tim?
I gotta ask, but how?
He said we should get rid of the Constitution publicly on his own website, and everyone goes, he never said that, even though it was archived by him. Fuck off.
He does leave behind a whole lot of breadcrumbs for people to say a lot of this stuff. But how about this? I see several folks in my comments on YouTube are saying that a lot of this shit started with Obama. The hatred, the division, it started with Obama is where I got several viewers.
They're not wrong, but it's because it showed how racist everyone was.
So
Thank you, Kingpin, for all the likes.
So the division started with Obama, but it was out of racism for Obama.
Very clearly. Hope and change, and it was a change away from racism and shittiness. And then Trump came in and said, nah, I'm the billionaire assholes that have screwed over all my contractors. I know what's right. Don't tell me otherwise.
Well, his first term, many would view was a success, though.
I disagree, but everyone will always disagree on these kind of things.
True. I mean, the term now, I know you're not going to probably favor this, but a lot of folks really like what he's doing with the border, Sherbert.
Sure, but I wonder if Trump still has a concept of a plan on healthcare when he's trying to take away from millions of Americans literally right now. So I don't really give a shit about the border because I grew up on the border and never really gave a shit about it then. So I care more about health insurance, which I haven't had in 10 years. So I really don't give a fuck about that talking point.
Yeah, the health insurance thing, I don't have any pushback for it. It does appear as if Trump is trying to certainly make health insurance in this country significantly more expensive or even unattainable. And folks on the right are not really, I mean, some of them in small, quiet corners are speaking out about it, but the outrage is not that great. And I think it's pretty clear that if he gets his way, health insurance costs, even for MAGA, are going to go up, and I don't know why they're not. Maybe they just don't believe it's going to happen.
Well, it's the same thing as immigration. With just do it the right way, just pay for it. Even though it's the same thing in Florida, where all of the homeowners insurance has gone skyrocketing up, and it's like, no, just do it the right way. Even though we've made it 20 times harder.
Well, in Florida, you could easily attribute it to the fact that it's a heavily desired state. People are moving there, and because all of the folks moving there, that could be what's making everything go up. Plus, they've had a lot of major national disasters.
It's all the disasters, number one, that causes that. But it's not a cheap place to live. It just looks like that on paper until you add up all the cost. But that's not what we were talking about.
No. So in regards to what I got on the screen here, America at war with itself, do you believe there is a chance that we're going to have some kind of major civil event, civil unrest, civil war?
If things keep going at the progression that they are, most likely. You can't keep ramping up the throttle and then expect to slow down. Especially when it's the number one person in the country saying it. It's not like some random asshole like Nick Fuentes. It's the president of the United States ramping up and saying he hates the people he has to work with.
I wish I could push back and say otherwise, but how do we stop it then? I mean, we don't want this to happen. If we're on a path towards a civil war, how do we stop it from actually materializing?
That's a great question. I'm not a political pundit. I just like yelling at you on TikTok.
You don't have any suggestions at all? If you could snap your fingers and make something happen, what would you make happen?
What's the, I think it's the 25th Amendment. I'm not perfectly clear, but the one that will remove a president from office just on his tariff policies and tanking the economy. But that's just me. It doesn't matter. This is what I think.
I believe Mike Johnson was caught on a hot mic or something agreeing that President Trump is unhinged.
They all know it. They just want to keep playing the game.
Why would they want to keep doing that, knowing that they could be caught up in the game at any time too? I mean, if any of them, Ted Cruz or Lindsey Graham, if any of them are caught saying something negative about Trump, it could be off with their head just as quick as any liberal.
Well, the big beautiful bill just got signed in for another 10 years. And so they're willing to play the game to get those tax cuts for their millionaire friends that will give them a cut so they can retire for the rest of their lives. So, no, they won. They're doing it just right. It's just, it screws over the rest of America because they want that capital.
What about if you can't beat them, join them? Would it be better off because I get people telling me that all the time. You need to just come on over, put the MAGA hat on, and just come on over to the right side. I mean, can't beat them, join them?
I mean, if this was 10, 15 years ago, maybe, but I feel like we're in such a state that I can't compromise myself that much to join them.
How would it be? What would you have to do to compromise yourself? What about the right?
Everything about me would have to be compromised to say most anything good about Trump other than the penny.
You and that
Which
penny,
he didn't do. He didn't even do that one thing I would have given him credit for.
The man says he has stopped 8 wars.
I don't give a shit. He is destroying this country. And it's very clear with the rest of the world laughing at us. And I'm not okay with that. He said we were a shithole country and a third world country when he was running to be the president. And all of a sudden we're the strongest, even though he has destroyed our connection with the rest of the world with these tariffs on a penguin island, as well as all of our allies. Fuck off.
Obviously not a very high. Is there anybody on your side that would make a decent candidate you can think of?
I mean, I like Jasmine Crockett. I like AOC.
You want Jasmine? I mean, at the presidential level.
Yes, they won't do it.
President Crockett, Jasmine Crockett.
I personally really like it. There's the Jon Stewart 28. I really like Tim Walz. We have candidates that are strong spoken speakers, but it doesn't matter when MAGA Reacts will turn himself into a pretzel to say that it's okay to do anything. I kind of like Tim Walz and Jasmine Crockett. That's my opinion.
Wow, Jasmine Crockett. I'd have to hear more from her. I mean, I know she attacks very well. I got the bad bleached body, whatever. I got the shirt right over here next to me, but
she was a prosecutor. She knows how shit works. I really like how she does it, and she put some sass on it. If Trump can say the dumbest shit ever, Jasmine Crockett can put some sass on it.
I don't like that though, Sherman. I'll tell you this because I've been critical of Trump making all of those wild statements and speaks off the cuff. He talks like a typical New Yorker. I miss the days of having somebody in there that spoke with tact and wasn't because what Trump is doing. If it was being done by a Hispanic or an African American or a person of color, people would be calling him a ghetto president. I don't like that type of language coming from the White House. If you're saying things that children cannot quote, to me you're doing too much. Because there is nothing you need to say as president that needs to be in that type of language. Like he told one lady while he was on the tarmac walking to Air Force One, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Did you hear me? They don't. I mean, why would you say that? That ain't necessary. I get you want to be passionate about how you feel, but to actually say that when you know the TV cameras are aiming at you, I'm not a fan of that. So if we get Jasmine Crockett and her call or claim to fame is doing the same thing, I'm not a fan of it.
Well, let me say this. I 100% agree with you. I would love us to get back to normal, but nobody's going to listen otherwise. And so it doesn't matter. We need somebody with fire and somebody to say something other than Chuck Schumer being a little pussy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. The whole notion of when they go low, we go high, it is not going to work. I do believe that whoever rises to the top of the Democratic Party to run for president in 2028, they're going to probably have to be talking like Trump because they're going to be running against Trump. Whether if Trump runs for a third term or even if Trump does not run for a third term, he's going to be heavily campaigning for the person that is. If it's J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio, he is going to be essentially who you're running against. You're not running against Marco Rubio or J.D. Vance in 2028 because Trump is going to be the one everybody's focusing on. You're still running against him. So the only way you're going to be able to defeat him is to kind of get in the mud and talk like that. And to me, the bar is on the ground at this point. I mean, for folks to think that that's okay.
You say the bar is on the ground, and I agree with you. But how did the bar get put on the ground? Was that someone like Jasmine Crockett, or was that somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene? What's your opinion on that?
In my opinion, that real harsh rhetoric stuff started with Trump. And then Marjorie Taylor Greene and the rest of those folks, you kind of gave them the green light to do it. And then, of course, the liberals, well, shit, if you're going to do it, I'm going to do it. But, I mean, it's started with he just talks like a typical New Yorker. He shoots straight from the hip. It started with that. You go back before the golden escalator, and there really was nobody that was talking like that on public TV. Yeah, they might have done it in their office and behind the scenes. You heard that, there were rumors that Hillary Clinton used a lot of profanity, but there are not a lot of clips of her doing it. I mean, there are clips where you can easily research and see Trump doing that stuff. So
you also used to not hear straight up racism come out of a lot of people, but with Trump just saying everything is okay, you hear it all the time. So, yes, I think we're in a darker timeline than we were in 2014.
Yeah. A lot of folks agree with you. MAGA disagrees with a lot of folks agree with you. Sure, but I do got to move it on. But this is the world we live in, man. Appreciate you coming through.
Have a good night.
You too. By the way, tap the screen. A lot of lazy thumbs in here. We're nowhere near where we should be. But get me on up to 50,000 if you will. Somebody said the TDS. This poor guy is suffering from Trump derangement syndrome, says Terry LePay. To me, the Trump derangement syndrome thing, I've asked MAGA, my beloved MAGA, I often ask MAGA all the time, give me your definition of derangement syndrome. That doesn't include Trump. In other words, derangement syndrome towards somebody else. Let's say you had LeBron James derangement syndrome. Describe what that would be like. If you actually describe what derangement syndrome is, you would quickly realize Trump has derangement syndrome on a lot of people too. So to me, derangement syndrome is kind of the American way. The same way you define and describe what it takes to have derangement syndrome on Trump. Trump talks about Biden every time you put a microphone in front of his face. That's derangement syndrome. Just because you don't diagnose it, don't mean it ain't there. But if somebody talks about and speaks negatively of Trump every time you see him, that's Trump derangement syndrome. So how does Trump not have Biden derangement syndrome? He's still doing it. If you put Trump in front of a summit or a sermon or something like that where he's speaking there, Biden's name is going to come up. He's going to bring Biden up. He's doing it every time. So how is that not derangement syndrome? I need a fly swatter to get rid of the bug in the chat. Who is the bug, Pinky? It's crazy how much people worship that saying on that red hat. If people knew what it really meant, they would hopefully never give it another thought. I don't know about that. I can't pronounce the name. I think people do know what Make America Great Again means. And they may give you a different definition for it, but I think they do know what it means. And make no mistake about it, that final word, again, is obviously a reference to something that has already happened. I think most MAGA understands that. Whether they tell you or not, I think most people understand that "Make America Great Again" means you're referencing something that has happened in the past. Still blaming Biden on shit that happens tomorrow. Yeah, Trump is blaming Biden for everything. When Trump was telling people to purchase Teslas, remember him and Elon were on the White House lawn, and Trump was telling people to buy a Tesla. He got inside of the Tesla to discuss how the dashboard and stuff looked. And when he got in the Tesla, the first thing he said is, "I bet you Biden couldn't get in this car." What the hell is Biden name coming up for? He cannot stop talking about Biden. To me, that's derangement syndrome. He just said it at a funeral for Charlie Kirk. He said what at a funeral? I'm sure Biden name came up at that funeral. Like I said, Trump does not talk to anyone, even when he's overseas, talking in England, talking to the G8. Biden's name is coming up. He doesn't talk at all without bringing up Biden's name. He clearly has Biden derangement syndrome. His side just doesn't diagnose it. Nope. Never mind. It says, nope, you are missing the point. Look up what it means in other languages. It's extremely evil. I don't know what you mean by that. Tap the screen. I'll go take the next caller at 50 thou. Look it in the comments though. Let me make sure I can see the comments. By the way, if you guys enjoy this type of programming, we don't block, ban, or censor anyone. We are MAGA friendly. We've been MAGA friendly since day one. We always will remain MAGA friendly. We do bring up MAGA guests anytime they're on TikTok, Instagram, or now X. We are currently broadcasting live on X as well. I'm learning how to work X though, so I got to figure out how to see the comments and all of this shit. I'm still learning how to work X, but we are currently live on X as well. Handsome Liberal on X. So, but yeah, if you want to come up live, come over on X, Instagram, or TikTok, and we'll bring you right up. It doesn't have to have the same opinion. We don't block, ban, or censor your commentary. We go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with Q. Everybody gets to speak. This is uncensored. Even when he was referring to Tim, he was still talking about Trump. Who are you talking about, Creed? I agree. We need someone that is more respectful than Trump, who gives a crap if the country turns into a lawless nation. Let's put someone in that sounds more presidential, right? Robert, not only do I want somebody that sounds more presidential, I want somebody, as you stated, you said you need somebody who gives a crap if the country turns into a lawless nation. I agree with that 100%. I want, the only way we're going to get past the division in this country is we're going to have to put somebody in the White House that gives a damn about unity. I mean, we can say it started with Obama. We can say Biden didn't do anything to make us unite, but I don't think there's anybody that believes Trump is improving it. We got to put somebody in there that actually gives a damn about how divisive we are. And obviously, Trump is not that person. Saying I hate all Democrats is about. You want to talk about Biden getting up there and saying, an island of garbage in reference to MAGA, or whatever Obama has said, or Hillary Clinton with deplorables. I mean, Trump came out and said I hate Democrats, so he ain't the guy for that. It's gonna have to be somebody else. It ain't gonna be him. So, in regards to unity, you're not gonna get that out of Trump because Trump takes sides. If we do have a civil war in this country, Trump is going to pick a side. He's not going to be Abraham Lincoln talking about, for the sake of maintaining the unity of this nation, we need to settle our differences and unite as one because we're weaker while divided. You ain't going to hear that from him. He's going to probably be saying the radical left is destroying the country and we need to do what we can to eradicate the radical left from the ranks of this nation. I mean, he's going to say something like that. So you're not going to get unity from Trump. You're just not. I mean, even most of the controversial shit that goes on, when you're talking about, like, let's say Kyle Rittenhouse or Daniel Penny, he takes sides in that stuff. He actually picks sides in that stuff. Kyle Rittenhouse gets an invite to the White House, stuff like that. I mean, Black Lives Matter is a terrorist outfit. January 6th participants are patriots. He takes sides in it. So you're just not going to get unity from Trump. I mean, it just the way it is. Chinese messing kids up with TikTok. Well, we're about to get rid of TikTok. Division is their agenda. They are driving towards a certain outcome. I would say it certainly seems to be Trump's agenda. Left and right will never get together. That's Bruno. That there's some validity in that, but they don't have to be as divided as we are. We are way more divided than we normally. Let's say under George W. Bush, left and right was not as far apart as they are now. Even under Obama, left and right was not as far apart as they are now. They are much further apart now than ever. And like I said, it's a lot of it is because Trump is on television almost daily saying divisive shit. I mean, remember, every time he trolls or as you guys say, tells a joke, that joke is done at somebody's expense. Them jokes are making one side laugh and they're pissing off the other side. You didn't get that out of Biden or Trump, or you didn't get that out of Biden or Obama or Bush. They weren't doing that. They were not telling bad jokes about one side of the aisle over and over and over and over again. I mean, so I think Trump is trying to create division from that standpoint. I didn't know anyone ever said America is poor. That is a new one. No, I don't think America is poor. I think that there's tons of money in this country, but it's more and more falling in the hands of a few people. I think the wealthy among us are trying to really get larger and larger pieces of the pie, but the country as a whole is not. I mean, like for instance, there's no legitimate reason for why universal health care is not the law of the land in this country, other than we would rather spend that money on something that gives a return, such as weapons and military stuff. Because if you spend the money on the military, you can then, like with the Ukraine, for instance, a lot of the shit we've given to Ukraine, we can show the footage of them using that on the Soviet Union as a marketing tool to sell it to other countries. There is no benefit to helping the downtrodden and helping the poor. That's why we don't do it. We'll give money and stuff to Israel. We'll help out Ukraine because there's benefits on the back end of that. Helping out the homeless, helping out people that don't have insurance. There's no benefit to it. So they're not going to do it. They don't get anything out of that. We can afford the needs of the poor, but not the greed of the rich. That is true. That is true. People who say America has become poor often don't understand the economic situations in other countries. Despite its challenges, this nation is still a blessed one. True, but the blessing is worth less and less. I mean, even if you're poor in America, you're still considered probably at least middle class in many other countries. But a person that is middle class in 2025 would probably be less than in 1970, 1980. I mean, the same job pays less in America than it did then. I mean, minimum wage doesn't go as far in 2025 as it did in 1970, 1980. If you were a kid working at a burger flipping restaurant in the 70s or 80s, you could do a lot more with that money they were paying you than that you can do working as a burger flipper now in modern times. The money don't go as far because they haven't continued raising the pay to match inflation. Anyway, are we at 40? Tap the screen. We're almost there. I'll take the next call. Sherbert, I need you guys to tap the screen. I see you there. I see you. It was, what does that say? It was on a different stream. They would just try to get the trans man's Grindr profile because they're MAGA. What is up with this claim that MAGA likes likes trans people? What is up with that? Look up amendment. Okay, you guys are talking about in the 70s. In the 70s and 80s, a single parent could feed the family. Now you have both working and drowning. Yeah, because the salaries don't pay as much. The salaries don't pay as much as they used to. I mean, when you look at the cost, when you look at how much the cost of goods and services has inflated since the 70s and 80s, you'll quickly notice the salaries have not caught up with that. I mean, let's say in the 1980s, how much was a can of soda compared to what it is now? In the 1980s, you could probably get a can of soda for, was it 50 cents? Maybe even less than that. Maybe even less than that. Compared to what it is now, how much is a can of soda now? Probably almost $2. 4 times, like a 4 times increase. Certainly a candy bar has done that. You go out and buy a Snickers bar, a pack of M&Ms at a gas station, you're paying $2 for that shit. I remember when candy bars, when I was a kid, was like 25 cents, 27 cents with tax in Chicago for a pack of M&Ms, a Snickers bar, that Mars bar candy, paydays and shit. 25 cents, 2 cents tax, 27 cents. Now a candy bar costs you about $2. Salaries ain't went up like that. Salaries have not increased that many multiples. So that means that the person working today can't buy as many candy bars as the guy that worked back then. And that applies all the way across the board, whether it's your car, your house, the bills. None of that. You don't make as much as you used to back then. The salaries have not caught up with that. Looking in the comments, real quick, we'll go back to the box. We'll go on to KK. Good evening, KK. Welcome to the program. Hopefully it brings them up. Inflation has been 2 to 5% each year, and most salaries are flat or increase 3% every 5 years. Yeah, it hasn't kept up. KK, are you there?
And I remember just thinking, like, this man is a genius. But while this genius man,
all right. Apparently, she or he is not paying attention, so we'll move it on. We'll go to Love to Cruz. Good evening, Love to Cruz. Welcome to the program. Type something in Tim's lab back. I see you there. Love to Cruz, are you there?
Yes.
Hey, good evening, man. So, what do you think? Is a civil war really a possibility?
Absolutely.
What would be the
Go
sides? We knew in the first one it was North versus South. What would be the sides of this?
Left versus right. Good versus evil. The Force versus Darth Vader and them. You know what I mean?
Good versus wait. You said good versus evil. Give me who's good, who's evil?
The left is good.
And the right is evil.
That's right. But you know what? Are we heading that way? Yes. But this can be avoided. We've been given when I say we, I mean people. The regular people. We've been given the answers to the test, but we're not taking advantage of it. Bud Light and Disney showed us the way that when we hold our dollars back, that these millionaires and billionaires will back down. And these are the people that support Trump. When you take away their dollars, guess what? They're not going to agree with Trump anymore. They're going to side with the part that gives them the money.
Well, the problem is because Trump has the power of government behind him.
That doesn't matter.
I don't know.
Not when you feel like the government is one thing, but guess what the government is ran by? Well, at least Trump's government is ran by. It's ran by the dollar bill. And when you sit up here, Disney, Bud Light, even Elon, these are, and now Tylenol. These are enemies that he's creating within. And they're not, you can't mess with those people's dollars. I'm sorry, they got in on the pretense that he's going to create more dollars with his tax cuts and this and that. But when you start messing with their bottom line, now they're not going to align with him. And eventually they're going to work on getting him out.
I don't know. Like I said, he got so much power. I don't know if you can do it. I hear what you're saying, but I don't know if it can be done. Trump is so powerful at this point. Virtually nobody is getting in his way. So, we're talking about Congress, Senate, the House. They're kind of letting him do what he wants to do. So even if Tylenol, one of these companies, get mad, I don't see how you can stop him.
Who gave him the power, Tim?
The people.
He didn't have this power.
No, the people gave him power.
At one point during the election, they were crying that he broke. And Elon came and saved the day for him.
Yeah.
Now, the same way all this is given is the same way all this can be taken away. And we control that. But we're going to have to get together as a people. And I know
know Mega's not going to go for it, but they're not the majority. We're the majority. Even Republicans who are not Mega, they're different. We're the majority. And even they see that this is not going right.
I don't think they see it right now. I think MAGA is very pleased right now with what's going on.
No, I'm not talking about MAGA. I'm talking about the Republicans. I'm not talking about MAGA. MAGA and Republicans are different.
Yeah, but I asked you if a civil war breaks out, what would be the side? You said left versus right. So you're saying the Republicans are going to be on the side with MAGA?
No, they're not.
So what is it, MAGA against everybody?
Exactly.
Shit, then MAGA would lose that, would they not?
Yes, they would. But unfortunately, in case of that civil unrest, we're going to have to go down before we come back up. MAGA's not going to go down without a fight, and that's who they are. But this country's going to have to take a deep fall in order to come back up. And with the political unrest it is now, I heard you earlier saying you don't like politicians who come off strong and say this and that. Unfortunately, we have made that turn.
Yeah.
And that's what it takes. You know, it'd be nice to go back to the old days where after election, the loser
Shook
says,
the hand,
well,
yeah,
you know,
shook
we're all
the-
one country and we need to stand by each other. Now, unfortunately, that's no more.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
believe it personally started with the Tea Party and excelled from there.
I don't know, because I think out of all 9 of those other candidates that ran, that tried to primary Trump, Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Chris Christie, Vivek, all of them would have been a shake hands, look, I lost, shake hands, concede type people. It's just Trump. I think Trump is kind of unique in that.
Well, unfortunately, Trump is the call.